Well, welcome and good evening to Williams Gymnasium, the site of tonight's double duel boys wrestling match between the Burlington Edison Tigers and Anacortes Seahawks and the visiting Bellingham Red Raiders and Seaholm Mariners. I am Luke Taylor alongside the coach Bill Evans. And coach, it's going to be an exciting night of wrestling. Anacortes' only home match of the year, so it's opening day, it's senior night, all in one, and we're going to see some really good wrestling with four teams from the Northwest Conference here tonight.
I can't wait to see it, Luke. I haven't seen a wrestling match all year, a high school wrestling match, and they're great. They're so exciting, and the double duel format can be really exciting also. Two matches going at once. When both those teams finish wrestling their individual matches against their opponents, then they'll have a second match to follow. Anacortes is going to go against Bellingham Red Raiders tonight, and then the following match with Seaholm.
That's correct. And if you're joining us on AHS Live, again, welcome into the program. Here we are in Williams Gymnasium. Wet night outside, but always dry here inside, and that's correct. Anacortes is going to wrestle both Seaholm and Bellingham tonight. It's their only home match of the year. Going to be an exciting time. It is senior night. Anacortes has one senior on the squad, and as coach was mentioning, the format, essentially Burlington is also a home team. They'll be wrestling on the deep purple mat. Anacortes will be on the lighter purple mat, and then Seaholm and Bellingham will swap opponents at the midway point. Right now, if you're watching online, you'll see some junior varsity wrestling matches to kind of whet the appetite. But coach, we've got a couple wrestlers that we want to really highlight tonight. The first is going to be for Anacortes, the senior. It's Connor Smith, the only senior on the roster, and the guy who has the best chance to go earn some points at the state tournament in about a month.
Yeah, Connor was here when I was coaching, and I remember a lot about Connor. He has a tendency to finish his matches strong. There are a lot of times where we thought he may have been put himself in a little bit of a 2 or 3 point underdog hole. By the time the third round came around, then he'd finish with a last minute win. I can't wait to see how he does tonight. I understand he's wrestling well this year, and a great kid, a lot of fun to watch.
For Anacortes, a team that's going to take their lumps this year. 9 out of their 13 varsity wrestlers are freshmen or sophomores. They are young. They had some guys not come back. Who they do have, though, is first-year coach Michael Lomsdalen, who was a 3-time state champion, I believe, at Cedar Woolley. He's getting his first opportunity to run a program, and again, going to be a year of hard knocks for the Seahawks. But ultimately, his experience we think is going to pay off for the squad.
I think it's a great opportunity for Michael, actually for Anacortes too, if Michael will stick around. If what he has here is kind of a pretty thin team numbers-wise, but I believe the best is yet to come in the future here with him, with his experience, with his staff. He's got Michael Jones and a long time around here. P.J. Simpson's out helping him.
Yep.
And we have a little kids club starting, so I think with what Michael brings and what the little kid program, the Hawkeyes, have going for them, the future in Anacortes looks pretty bright. Looks like the numbers will pick up, maybe hopefully as good as Burlington's. They're in the near 50 range. And it'll be healthy again, but we need someone to, like Michael, to get the kids excited and keep them out. And his expertise in wrestling, he'll teach them how to wrestle, get them in good shape, and that'll all take care of itself. He'll do a good job.
Again, if you're just joining us, we are live inside Williams Gymnasium. You're watching some of the junior varsity matches in front of you. Luke Taylor alongside Bill Evans, and we're talking about the Anacortes Seahawks, their only home match of the year. It is senior night. A couple of the younger wrestlers, though, for Anacortes, again, guys who you're not going to have a ton of success in wrestling until you've got the experience, but some of these guys, like Joshua Pittis, having a good season as well, Alex Havel as well. There are some other wrestlers. It's not just the Connor Smith team. Some guys that are going to compete tonight against Seaholm and Bellingham.
Yeah, a person in tonight's match, you could very well go up against a first-year freshman or a senior that's been wrestling all his life in 2 different matches side by side, and so you don't know what you're going to get. I have yet to see anybody on this team wrestle this year, and some of the names I've heard of, but I don't know the kids. But I am looking forward. I've heard about Josh since he was in the junior high and the smaller kid program, the Hawkeyes, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how it goes for them. I know that Bellingham and Seaholm have some good kids sprinkled through the weights too. So, not sure, Luke, but was there a match not too long ago with Seaholm and Anacortes?
Not that I know. They might have met at the tournament. There might have been some crossover at the tournament. I'm not sure if they have faced each other specifically this season. I do know that Anacortes started the season at Burlington, and the score discrepancy was what it was, which will happen when you've got a young team against a more standout team. But Connor Smith had a great match there. Joshua Pittis won his match over in Burlington, so there's some bright spots there. And again, to explain this format, both Anacortes and Burlington are the home teams tonight. When the varsity wrestlers come out, Anacortes, if you're watching online, will be on the light purple mat. It will be on the right hand of your screen. Burlington will wrestle on the deep or dark purple mat on the left hand of your screen. And then Bellingham and Seaholm will swap sides midway through the match. So we don't expect to see any Anacortes Seahawks take on any Tigers tonight. But if you're a fan of wrestling, you've got to be a fan of what Coach Kirk Hamilton's done in his 18th year at Burlington Edison. His teams consistently finish in the top 10 or 15 at state. They have great wrestlers, and they have guys that, no one really wants to face. I'm talking guys like Isaac Lopez, could be is going to be a state participant. Cale Peth as well. And then in the 190-pound, Jacob Fleury. So these are guys, Bill, that although they'll be maybe not on the Anacortes mat tonight, guys to keep your eye out for throughout the evening.
Oh, they've got some studs, and then all the other weights, they always have good, strong wrestlers. I can't wait to see how some of their good kids look here too tonight.
Yeah, Burlington came in second at the Spud Wally tournament. Again, Isaac Lopez at 126 took first. Brennan Rotten at 132 took first. Jacob Fleury was first. At 220 they were third. At 285, Cody Shutt at the heavyweight was first. So they're a team that should do well tonight, taking on Seaholm and Bellingham. And that's kind of the great unknown for us, though, Coach, is that we don't exactly know what these Whatcom County teams bring to the mix. Seaholm's won 4 dual matches this year. Bellingham's won 5. They've had their ups and downs. And again, as you said, sometimes it's difficult to follow these wrestling matches. The kids' weights fluctuate. Kids are injured. Kids don't wrestle from year to year. So sometimes it's a crapshoot what you're going to get on any given night.
Well, and you can and everybody has their strengths and their certain weights, and there's a huge, sometimes when a team could wrestle, let's say against Burlington and win by 5, or we'll say lose by 5, and then go against another team that's supposed to be better, and go out and beat them, because the weights match up, the individual wrestlers match up, and the point swing, the 6 for a pin, the 6 for a forfeit, talking about team points, 3 for a decision, 4 for a major decision, over 10 points win is 4 team points. Those individual matchups tend to make a huge difference in the point swing. For instance, you look at a pin as 16 points, but keeping from being pinned and pinning the other guy, that's a 12-point swing. It's a big deal.
Yeah, correct. You are there. And let's talk a little bit about the format here. Going to be 13 weight classes, all the way from 106 pounds to 285 pounds. So it runs the whole gamut. We have the 4-team format, the double duel tonight, and then you were just talking about the scoring. Okay, 3 points if you win your match by a decision, 4 if you win by 10 points or more. Okay, 6 for a forfeit or a pin. And that goes to your team total, which at the end of the night is going to be added up, and that'll tell if the teams win. But individually, the scoring is a little more rudimentary.
Yeah, individual points in the matches. You're talking about how you score. Okay, you start the match, both wrestlers will be on their feet, and they're trying for what you call a takedown. You get the wrestler that takes the other wrestler down and controls him for a period of time, a second, demonstrates control. They'll give them 2 points for that. You have an escape. If one wrestler's in control and both wrestlers are down, one's in control, bottom man gets out, you get a point for an escape. Okay. The other points that you'll see quite a bit of, near falls. You'll see the officials counting there are near fall criteria. Basically, one of them is if their shoulder blades are 45 degrees on the mat there, they'll start counting. Okay, anything under a 5 count is a 2-point near fall. Anything from 5 and beyond is a 3-point near fall if the wrestler happens to get off his back. And what else are we talking about? We're talking about penalty points. The penalty range, you have an illegal hold will cost a wrestler a point. The first time it happens, it's a point. The second time it happens, it's a point. The third time it happens, it's 2 points. If it happens again, and I've seen it happen a few times, there will be disqualification. The other points, let's see.
If you're watching on AHS Live here, you're going to see the junior varsity match here between Burlington and Seaholm. And in between rounds, the rounds last 2 minutes, but in between the rounds, there's a coin toss, and one of the wrestlers elects either be down on the ground and one starts up in a controlled position. Now, is that arbitrary, or do those guys get to choose who gets to be on top or bottom?
Yeah, they'll flip a coin out there, and they'll have a choice. And their choice will be, if they win the toss, it'll be top, bottom, neutral, or defer. They can choose the top position, the bottom position. Neutral would be standing, both wrestlers standing, or they can defer their choice to the next round. They can wait and make their choice, much like a football kickoff. But right now, the Seaholm wrestler that started on the bottom is he's trying to either get a reversal for 2 points, or he's trying to get out at this point. The whole point of wrestling is to pin your opponent's shoulders to the mat for a 2-second count, and the Burlington wrestler's working for that right now. He's supposed to be actively working and trying to work toward a fall. Oh, there we have that reversal.
Okay, so now the Seaholm wrestler on top, he should get 2 points for that reversal.
Should have 2 there.
There we go. We see the official.
Referee Randy Audette. He's been refereeing longer than I coached, which was a long time. He's good at it. We're very fortunate. In the Northwest League, we have Randy Audette here tonight and Mark Johnson on the other mat, and all the other refs we have in our league. As I coached over the years with Coach Compton and Coach Woods and Coach McMorrin, we would go to tournaments in several areas of the state, sometimes out of state. And when we'd come home, we'd realize that I think, and we agree on this, that the officials in the Northwest League are some of the best and very consistent, very good in wrestling. High school wrestling.
As far as the officiating goes, and scoring points, it's always up to the referee. He ultimately makes the call. How often do matches come down to a referee's decision to maybe award points or not award points?
Oh, it happens. We'll see it tonight.
Okay.
We'll probably see some close ones tonight come down to it. Sometimes it happens in the last second. Sometimes it happens, that controversial takedown might happen with 30 seconds to go or a minute to go, or somebody maybe, one coach is working for a stall call. His kid's down and the other kid's up, and they're trying to get a point. Yeah, you'll see there are some decisions to be made, but what you look for in a good official is they don't all call it the same exact way. There is a rule book. They do follow it the best they can, but there's some situations where, we felt like some people called pins faster than others, but it doesn't matter as long as they're consistent every time. You know what you're getting, and you're ready for it.
If you're just joining us, this is Anacortes High School Boys Wrestling, the only home match of the year, brought to you by the Anacortes High School Broadcast Club on AHS Live. You can watch this on YouTube. You can send the link out if you're doing that. And again, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Luke Taylor alongside the coach, Bill Evans, and as we're going through the warm-ups here with the JV, the junior varsity wrestlers, as we await the varsity wrestlers' turn on the match. Again, it's Anacortes and Burlington Edison hosting against Seaholm and Bellingham. The Whatcom County against Skagit County should make for an interesting match tonight. Coach, let's talk a little bit about wrestling in this area of the state. It wasn't too long ago that the District 1, and I believe it's 2 for wrestling, but this area of the state was kind of in control of the wrestling world. You had Cedar Woolley, the Blaines, Bellinghams, even Anacortes as well. Taking a fall as of late. Now Central Washington kind of dominates the 2A ranks. Is there a reason for that? Is it cyclical? What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I hope it's cyclical because right now our area hasn't been as dominant as it used to be. 20 years ago we had some really dominant teams, and it hasn't been like that for a while. And I'm hoping we're going to have a comeback. Our numbers, a lot of schools are down in numbers of kids turning out for their teams. Burlington's got a nice, healthy group, and I see quite a few kids on the other teams. So I think the numbers thing, that might be cyclical too, and that might be coming back. But like you said, right now the power's over there, and I've been out of it for a couple of years. I'm kind of not into where the freestyle programs and that sort of thing is. Sometimes you can tell who's on the up and come because you know what they have in those programs. I don't know where these programs go on that, and the North League at West League stands on that. I do know Burlington's got a couple of really good wrestlers in their little guys. I think is it Isaac Lopez?
Yeah, Isaac Lopez. He's going to be all going to be all he can handle at 126.
And so, and we have our good kids. Our schools have our different good kids. Our state placer type, high state placer type kids, maybe state champs, but we don't have as many as we used to have at certain points, in the past. But hopefully it's on the way back. Blaine's been real strong in the A's for quite some time, and they're still strong this year too.
And in fact, the Borderites are 4th in the 2A state standings right now, and they're hosting I guess what you would call a travel team from Japan, actually. This weekend there's a kind of a group of all-stars from the Northwest Conference that are taking on a traveling team from Japan. That should be interesting at Blaine High School. But to go back to maybe the numbers are down, wrestling, we talk about wrestling, it's a commitment sport. It's also a technique sport. You've got to sell out to do it. You can't just dabble in wrestling, I guess, maybe like some of the other sports. And we talk a lot about getting kids out and sport specialization. That hurts that because kids only do one sport. But you kind of got the dichotomy here where you've got to commit to wrestling, but maybe that sport specificity is actually hurting the sport.
It could be. Yeah, what you said, you can't dabble in it. Wrestling's tough. You can go out and play basketball with your friends. You can't go play wrestling.
Okay. You don't just show up at the park.
You can go work out, that sort of thing. But, it's interesting that you say that. I don't know if it hurts wrestling too specialized because wrestling has its specialists that are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I think it might hurt the numbers along with a couple other things. Coach Woods spoke to this once. To be a wrestler, first of all, here we have it. We have a gym for one night because, we don't want to give it up too much for our basketball team. We got basketball on a couple of nights this way. Okay, so we get a home match. We get one. We get one time for these kids who've been wrestling, and this is the same way at other schools. They get 1 or 2 home matches. So there's not a lot of glory in that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of glory in standing out there in a singlet for some people.
Well,
some people, if you're calling her Kelly Thorne.
Hey, guilty as charged, though. I won't argue that.
But, that doesn't turn, that kind of might turn some people off, but you have to watch your weight. There's and you have to diet. The state has some safe systems. There's a certain amount you can lose depending on your body weight at the beginning of the season and your percent body fat. You can't be able to go below a certain weight, and you have to do it in small increments throughout the season. The weight control might be a turn off to some kids. The Saturday matches. On Saturdays, these teams go to tournaments. My last coaching season, we spent 10 full Saturdays coaching. Now, for the kids, most of those kids will be in 7 of those. Those are team tournaments, all the kids go. If Saturday is not how, if wrestling is not how you want to spend your Saturday, then you're not going to like that, because it's from 6 in the morning to about 10 at night when you get back home. Yeah, so you don't, not, you know, it conflicts with the fun things, other fun things kids do, snowboarding. Watching going to be a fan of the basketball teams at school, that's fun. I mean, it's got rooting your team. Some of that stuff you have to miss because of the things you have to do. So there are some challenges, so you can see, I guess I can kind of understand how, you know, it's not a glamorous sport. It's really hard. It's the hardest. You know, I've done a lot of things in running, turning out for football and wrestling. Wrestling is the most difficult thing I've ever done. Going 3 rounds, and then at that time we had 3 rounds of overtime. I've never been so tired in my life, but you know, it's tough. And yeah, and then there's some other things that turn kids off. You know, there might be some skin issues, that sort of thing, but you know, they keep that monitored very closely, and usually it's not a problem. But yeah, there are a lot of, it seems like those things combined might be, you know, hurting the numbers a little bit.
But as you said, we saw just before the junior varsity wrestlers took the mat, we had the little Hawkeyes, the Anacortes youth wrestling out there. Lots of numbers there. That was great to see. And even some former wrestlers I know that I went to school with, who you coached, and now their sons now are out there, and even their daughters are out there on the mat. So that's good to see. It looks like the sport is indeed healthy. And as we're getting closer here to the varsity matches, again, if you're just joining us, it'll be Burlington on the left of your screen on the dark purple mat, Anacortes on the right of your screen on the light purple mat. It is senior night. The one senior for Anacortes is going to be a 3-year letter winner. It's Connor Smith. He's the son of Doug and Julie Smith, and Connor really is the great hope for Anacortes this season. We talked to Coach Lomsdalen before we came onto the broadcast, and he knew taking the job it was going to be difficult. Maybe not sure how difficult, but he's committed to doing this. But he also knows that he has his ace in the hole is Connor Smith, and he's kind of the guy that Anacortes is going to have to put all their marbles into this year if they want to get a guy to that state tournament.
Well, he's got the best chance when we get there. And I know Coach Lomsdalen and Simpson and Coach Doan, they're putting their marbles, first of all, into, they're working with everybody. And there's a lot of camaraderie among the wrestlers because they work hard, and when you spend that much time on any team, you get close to the other players too. But you know what? Yeah, I think Connor has definitely got our best chance. He's got a good chance to place, not just get to the state tournament, but be a state placer. And he's certainly got enough heart. I've seen him come back from, pretty good deficits and finish matches strong and that sort of thing. And he's a good, high-quality person. He's a good person around school, a good kid. Comes from a good family. But yeah, he's our best hope this year, it looks like. And hopefully, I wish him well, and I hope he does real well the tournament time at the end of the year.
If we're looking at some of the top wrestlers we will see wrestle tonight, you do have Connor Smith for Anacortes, ranked somewhere around the 10th 2A ranked wrestler, 195 in the state this season. You've got the number 3 120-pounder, that's Isaac Lopez. He may wrestle at 126 tonight. Number 8, Aaron Fisher at 185 for Burlington Edison. Also at number 8, ranked 2A state wrestler at 195, Jacob Fleury for Burlington. And then a host of other wrestlers who are also receiving votes for Burlington Edison. For the Seaholm Mariners, they've got the number 6 ranked 160-pounder, that's junior Andy Waters. And as far as the Bellingham Red Raiders are concerned, they've got a couple guys that are pretty good right now. Nobody ranked, but we've got sophomore Josh Perry at 113, Indiana Casas, who was a state participant last year at 120, and then Elijah Marquez at 126 was a state participant. Those guys, although kind of receiving votes there, not quite as highly ranked. Those are the guys we're going to see tonight, Coach, that will have a chance as we get into district season here in a couple weeks that are likely to move on. And from the wrestling coach perspective, you've made it this far. You started sometime in mid-November, so you're about 2 months into the bulk of the season. At what point is there a tapering process as you work towards the postseason, or do you hit it even harder? How does that work as you go into the postseason of the wrestling season?
Each coach has their own personal, way they do it as they go through. I think most of them tend to, at tournament time, first of all, the kids have to keep their weight under control, and you notice I said kids. That's up to the kids. They need to control it. They need to do it the right way. They need to modify their diets. They need so they can keep eating and not go through these stretches of starvation, that sort of thing. So they can keep eating small amounts of the right foods and have some energy. But the coaches, most of them will taper. In other words, you shorten your practice. You might make them short and intense. Some people like to wrestle a little bit intensely there in those times in their practice room. Some coaches, not so much. They like to do some drilling with just a little bit of live stuff. They're all concerned about injuries.
Yeah,
okay?
definitely.
But you got to keep an edge on your conditioning. You have to go hard at some point with some conditioning things. That doesn't always have to be full speed wrestling. But they go in and they do their drilling, constant drilling on technique. And some other position drills. You might put them in a common position that happens in practice, start from there and go live for 20, 30 seconds, those kind of things. There may be some individual coaching for coaching styles of different wrestlers they may face or they have to get by or they know they're going to have at some point. Maybe work on a few little things like that, but most of it's pretty general. And most of it is tapering down on time, making sure you get some of that intensity in there to keep an edge on your conditioning. If you're not built up at that point, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
So you just have to maintain it.
If you're just joining us tonight on AHS Live, this is the Anacortes boys wrestling only home match of the season. It's a double duel featuring Burlington Edison, the other home participant, against a couple Whatcom County schools, Seaholm and Bellingham, making the short trip down to Williams Gymnasium tonight. I am Luke Taylor alongside the coach, Bill Evans, and as we mentioned, it's the only home match of the season for the Seahawks. All their other double dual home matches have been over in Burlington Edison's gym. And you touched on that. It's difficult to come out here to kind of toil in wrestling without getting a lot of the glory. You're less likely to be in the paper. You're not going to, your picture's certainly not going to be in the paper like some of those other guys. Needless to say, it is at this point an unglamorous sport. But for these kids that put in the dedication, not just through high school, but most of these kids are starting when they're 5 or 6. And we've got one, Connor Smith, tonight, the senior, on senior night for Anacortes. What does that culmination mean? And you kind of touched on it. It's really less of a sport, more of a lifestyle it becomes for a lot of these kids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, there's a time commitment. If you want to be really good, these kids, well, they'll start when they're little kids, and they go through a folk style season, and then a lot of them will carry on through the freestyle season, and that usually starts sometime after, I think it's toward the end of January, and they get into that freestyle thing, and it can go into the summer if you're good enough and you want to. There are all kinds of tournaments around that you can go to on the weekends. Yeah, it is definitely, it can be a lifestyle because during the season you feel like you really don't have much free time between practice, and then we used to do the dual matches where you would leave schools, if you were on a road trip, you'd leave schools somewhere around 3:34, drive to the other school, weigh in, wait for the match to start. When the match is over, you'd head home. If everybody was filling the weights and it was a good close match, sometimes you wouldn't get home till about 11, and sometimes you'd have 2 of those in a week. But if it's a home match, you're home by 9:30, 10, something like that. But it's real. That weekend thing is a real time commitment too. But yeah, and the other thing, I forgot to touch on this, Luke. You're talking about things that may turn off kids. Is there's nowhere to hide. It's one-on-one.
Sure.
And it's when you're out there, there's nobody to point the finger at but you. And sometimes that doesn't appeal to some, certain kids. some kids thrive on that, of course. But yeah, it's that's really hard. I know we missed out on a couple of really good physical athletes that wanted to start when they were a junior or senior. And that's a tough thing if they've never wrestled before and they come out in their first match as a junior or in their first year as a junior or senior, and they've wrestled, come up against maybe not such a quality athlete as they are, and then get beat by that person. That's hard to take. That other person may have been wrestling all their life. They know a few things and they take advantage of them, and that's really hard to take too. So, you know, you don't get a lot of kids out of the hallways as juniors and seniors that do well. It's not enough time to learn it. You have to be in it for a long time. Although, you know, in football, that's different. Ryan Long didn't turn out until he was a junior in high school.
If you're an athlete,
we know where that went. Yeah.
That's right.
There's some skills to learn in wrestling you just have to have that you can't learn in one season.
You know, in fact, the football program retired Ryan Long, the NFL great, retired his high school number in a ceremony this season at a home game, and Ryan actually came back and helped teach a couple of defensive line techniques, and that was fun for the kids, got kids excited. Is that what a coach like Lomsdalen can bring to this program? A guy who's young, he's a 3-time state champion. He was wrestling at Cedar Woolley, who was the premier 2A program at the time he was there. Obviously, he's going to bring some sort of cachet with him that kids are going to buy into, but just being a young guy, he's in shape, he can get out there and he can physically show you the moves. That's got to go a long way in helping a young squad grow throughout the season.
I think it's huge. The magic word, I think, is young. Okay, that's somebody that the kids can, you know, they can rally around the Pied Piper, get them out of the hallway, get them in there, keep them there, have fun with them, wrestle with them, show them some things. But he's got, you know, he was an excellent wrestler, he still is, and that's a good thing. That being good, that he's got all that credibility as an outstanding wrestler, and he's got this backlog of technique that he can teach and those kids can use in their own skills to be good. I think it's the right move. I just wish he, you know, he was hired only about a month or so before the season. I just wish for him he could have got the job a little sooner so he could, that might make the transition better, retain more kids, that sort of thing. I really think if he wants to stay, he's in on the ground floor of something that could be really good, because the Hawkeye program is just, they're doing a great job. They're getting lots of numbers. If he can retain those kids when they come out, they're going to have a real solid base, and then he gets those outstanding individual athletes that he can mold, you know, that have that basic background in wrestling. They're going to be really good.
What type of athlete are you looking for from a coach's perspective when you see a kid walking through the halls or he walks into the mat for the first time? What kind of kid gets you salivating? What are you looking for in a wrestler?
God, I don't know, about the same thing you want in one of those great running backs.
Muscular, athletic, fast,
oh my
all
goodness.
those things.
Fast, strong, got a motor. I mean, high, you know, the aerobic conditioning part's got to be good. A will to win, and you know, an attitude of
competitiveness.
Yeah, the competitiveness, where they want to kick your butt. That they are not going to lose.
Sure.
And you know, those kind of things. That's what I'm looking for. And then it's fun. You know, sometimes you see some big guys that you just wish you could get out there too. We had a stretch of heavyweights here that was really good. Jimmy Raines, Timmy. And God, there were more. Ben Selting.
Okay.
I think that was one of the starts of the long run. We had about 4 or 5 heavyweights that were really good. Those guys are fun to watch through. There goes Connor Smith as we speak.
There he goes, walking in front of us, the man of the hour, the only senior to be celebrated here at senior night for the Seahawks. As if you were watching on AHS Live, you did see the Anacortes Seahawks begin to take their position on the side of the light purple mat. So That'll be our signal that the varsity weights are going to start very soon. And the format, Coach, is kind of up in the air. We're kind of learning on the fly as well. Because of the double duel, the weights are going to start. It's not just, you're not just going to start at 106 pounds. They might start somewhere in the middle at say a 145-pound match or a 152-pound match, and from there they'll just kind of go clockwise through the weights typically. So we're not even sure exactly who the first wrestlers are going to be on the mat. We'll do our best to bring you that accurate information. From your perspective, what do you like to see? Do you like to start from the bottom? Do you like to work your way around? Is there a competitive advantage if you have your choice? What's the best way to do that?
You know, the rules changed a long time ago, but I've been out of it for a couple years, but when I left, back in the old days, it started at the smallest wrestlers and it went up to the heavyweights, and the match was decided sometimes at that last match, which is really exciting. But then they put in the rule where you drew a weight class. If you started at 132, you went up to 138, 145, all the way through. Your last match would be at 126.
Okay.
Most of the coaches, I'm going to tell you, 80 to 90% plus 80 or 90% of the officials liked it the old way.
Okay.
I would be willing to bet. I haven't talked to Randy or Mark Johnson or PJ or the other coaches here, but I don't know that it's changed too much. Maybe some of them liked it this way. I'm sure that Burlington might like to have their first or their last match with Isaac Lopez.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think a lot of the coaches, they prefer that old way. It was fun, but some of them in the minority, I think, when I left, they like it the new way.
And it looks like we are going to get Randy Audette on our match. Mark Johnson, the referee for the Burlington Edison matches. As you mentioned, two terrific referees tonight. You pointed out that in this area we are blessed to have such good guys. Of course, Mark does a lot of the basketball and football officiating as well. He's kind of a year-round type of guy. And as we're about to get ready for these varsity matches, again, whichever weight we start at, we'll bring to you. We know for Anacortes the sledding is going to be tough. They've got so many young wrestlers. But what can you tell those guys? Is they're going to go up against some guys from Seaholm or Bellingham, like you said, that may just be way better. But there's going to be a lot of close matches tonight. For a kid that's young and inexperienced and hasn't had a lot of success this year from the Anacortes perspective, how do you build them up before this match and make sure they're at their best when they go out there to compete?
Well, okay, when you're going through the season with those kids, you want to make sure that they're feeling good about the learning process. It's not realistic to think you're going to go out there and win every match, but it is realistic to show improvement. Okay, it is realistic to learn to do things better as you go through the season technique-wise, and to see it come out on the mat. And it is realistic when you get somebody, and I don't know, I think of them as winnable matches, that you take advantage of it. You walk away a winner. I mean, you get a guy that's maybe like your experience or like your ability level physically, and all things are even, that those are the ones, those are your measurements. You might see that kid 2 or 3 times in a year. So it's funny, I've seen kids lose big and then win big at the end. I saw my own son wrestling a kid from Cedar Wool. He got beat up at Blaine. I think it was a 10-point major decision. And then at the end of the year in the league championship match, Dave beat him by a lot. I think it was a major. They just switched, and you see those things quite often.
So we hear Craig, the announcer, telling us that is the conclusion of the junior varsity matches. We're going to get into the varsity weights here, but we'll take a quick break. This is Anacortes Boys Wrestling, brought to you by AHS Live. We'll take a 60-second break and be back with the varsity matches after this.
Each year, thousands of fantastic pictures are taken by yearbook photographers of AHS sporting events, assemblies, performing arts, and more. The best of these photos are now available to you online. Just point your browser to ahs.smugmug.com. You can download digital images or order prints right from your computer or phone with the SmugMug app. How cool is that? Support the rhododendron and your students by using ahs.smugmug.com. Each year, thousands of fantastic pictures.
Kennelly Keys Music in Anacortes is your one-stop shop for all your musical needs. As a full-service music retailer, Kennelly Keys offers everything from sales and rentals to music lessons and repairs. Whatever you need, Kennelly Keys Music has you covered. Visit our website at kennellykeysmusic.com, follow us on Facebook, or stop by the store and speak with our knowledgeable staff. And make sure to check out our new music hall. Kennelly Keys Music, located at 1904 Commercial Avenue in Anacortes.
Williams Gymnasium here at Anacortes High School. We're going to pause real quick for the national anthem being performed tonight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, in the rugged regolith, the bombs bursting in, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow, Luke. I hope the wrestling's as good as that singer.
But that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I'm
For
glad.
the-
That was worth coming to see right there.
There you go. Well, again, welcome inside Williams Gymnasium tonight. The site of tonight's double duel, the hosting Burlington Edison Tigers and the homestanding Anacortes Seahawks take on two visitors from the north, Whatcom County. It is the Seahome Mariners and the Bellingham Red Raiders. If you're just joining us, I am Luke Taylor alongside Coach Bill Evans. If you're watching on AHS Live on YouTube, on the left side of your screen, on the dark purple mat, Burlington Edison will be wrestling Seahome to start, and Anacortes will be wrestling on your right, the light-colored purple mat, and they will be wrestling the Bellingham Red Raiders first. It is Coach Michael Dahlon's first year as Seahawk head coach. He is a three-time state champion from Cedar Woolley. About a decade ago, 8 or 9 years ago, Michael was wrestling there, a guy you probably coached against, and he's got his hands full tonight, Coach. We've detailed that in the pregame show. A tough year for him. He's got so many young wrestlers, but a real opportunity tonight at their only home match of the year to get some varsity wins.
Yeah, I think they got they're giving up a lot of weights. That's going to hurt when we have 6 forfeits. But you know, I think these are in the matches wrestled. I have a feeling we'll do okay.
Okay, and real quickly, we can maybe hear it in the background there. There's one senior, a lone senior on the Seahawks squad. That's Connor Smith, wrestling at 195 pounds. He is a 3-year letter winner. His parents, Doug and Julie Smith, likely to be a state participant this year, finished 5th at Battle of the Border, really close to advancing to the semifinals of that tournament as well. He's the great hope for Anacortes, and he's the guy that's trying to, I guess, carry the rest of the squad, not just tonight, but in practice. He's the leader. He's the guy that's going to help these Seahawks maybe climb out of this hole.
Yep, he's our leader, and he's the one the kids will kind of rally behind. Like I said before, I'm real excited to see what the end of the year, not just tonight, but the end of the year experience at tournament time, see how he does. I do feel like he's good enough to bring home a state medal.
So we're about to find out where we're starting. It looks like Joshua Pittis for the Seahawks is going to be the first to wrestle. Joshua, I believe, wrestling at 120 tonight.
We got him at 113.
113 tonight,
against
okay.
a wrestler from Bellingham named Josh Perry.
Okay, so Josh Perry, one of the best wrestlers right now this season on the Bellingham squad. I believe in our notes here we have he took second at the Bryan Hill tournament about a month ago. So wrestling at 113, this is going to be one of our premier matchups between the Seahawks and the Red Raiders, as coaches entailing that we get the right details for this match. Again, going to start here momentarily. Again, Anacortes will start by wrestling Bellingham on the right-hand side of your screen at the midway point. After that whole round is completed, Seaholm and Bellingham will switch sides, and then Anacortes will take on the Mariners of the North. So again, it looks like we're going to get the 113-pound weight class to start things off. Now, was Anacortes, did they have a 106-pounder? They did not. Both teams had a forfeit at 106, Coach. So what does that mean for the scoring? They just start at 0? Nobody gets a point?
They give them 0. Yeah,
Okay.
when both teams forfeit, nobody gets a point. When both teams forfeit at the same weight class, there's no team points.
So nothing ventured, nothing gained there for either team. So we're going to kick it off, I believe, at 113 just momentarily here.
Two sophomores.
Well, and two really good sophomores. Again, Joshua's been up and down this season. I saw him wrestle Burlington earlier. He picked up a win in that match, and he's a kid. That's the great thing I think about wrestling is the weight classes. You're taking on guys who are your similar size. Obviously, it makes sense to cut as much fat off your body. You're getting kids that are very strong for their size and therefore athletic. They're in great shape, and that's the fun part I like is that you're going to go up against a guy. He's only a sophomore, but he's also a sophomore. He's your same size. It should make for compelling competition.
These guys are so quick when their matches are so fast. It's fun to watch the little guys. Looks like we're going to get Randy Audette. Both these officials have officiated at the state tournament several times. And in Mark's case, over on the other mat, Burlington's mat, he's officiated at the state tournament football level.
Yeah, he
championship game.
He was famous. He was on television on the Root Sports broadcast earlier this year, about 2 months ago, I believe in that 4A state title game. So again, two really good referees, and it looks like Anacortes has won the coin toss. And they'll shake hands there. Connor Smith, the team captain, as we mentioned, the leader there for Anacortes. Again, Anacortes forfeiting a few weights. They've got a couple injuries, notably Ante Petrish in the heavyweight division, 285. Ante was having a good season. And Oscar Acosta, one of the young football standouts, a sophomore, he's also injured. He hurt his shoulder in a previous match earlier this week, so he will not be wrestling for the Seahawks, unfortunately, tonight. But the show will go on, and it looks like Pittis is coming to the scorer's table here to check in. Now, Coach, they'll have 3 2-minute rounds if it goes that far, and then they'll have 1 overtime period. How does that work if the score's tied?
Overtime changes a little bit every year, and well, not every year. They make little changes to it. I'm not exactly sure on the procedure right now. I think they start with a 2-minute round, and if there's the first takedown wins or first point wins.
Okay.
I'm not sure on that. Like I said, I haven't seen a match for quite some time.
So possibly sudden death.
And yes, and it could go into later rounds where one will start up and one will start down, and then they'll wrestle those rounds out, and if points are scored, the other kid gets a chance to have his. Here we go with Josh Pittis and Josh Perry.
So again, Bellingham in the red, Anacortes in the purple. We'll be primarily focusing on those matches, although we'll try to bring perhaps some of the highlights from the Burlington Edison mat to our left. But again, right now, Perry looking for the 2-leg takedown, and Pittis defensive there, spreading the feet out, centering the weight.
Good head pressure. He's
back
trying
on
to
their
force
feet.
his head down so he can spin around and get behind and get his 2.
Now, what's more important here? Is it lower body, upper body? Is it footwork? Where's
both?
The,
yeah, you want to make sure you protect your legs by getting down in a good stance. So don't make it easy for him to shoot in on you. Another thing you don't want to do is reach with your arms extended so he can just bump your elbows and shoot under and get you for a double leg. You want to keep your basically elbows in and body down, feet apart.
Okay, so
nice
a
shot
lift there. And now he's
Okay.
gained back control, so that's a 2-point takedown for Perry for Bellingham.
Nice little shot there. Okay, now he's working to try to eventually pin him here. He's trying to get some holds to get Josh Pittis turned over. Working on a cradle there, near side cradle. He's got it locked up. Josh Pittis he's got turned now. He's getting his near fall points.
As you see the referee there counting for those near fall points. Pittis just trying to keep
There you
those
go.
shoulders
He
off the
kicks
mat.
out. Some 3-point near fall that he ref counted to at least 5 there.
Okay, so
Okay, and Pittis is almost out. He's got to make clear breakaway. Didn't quite get there. No points.
the score should be 5-0 right now in Bellingham's favor as the headgear's falling off for Perry.
Yeah, I thought I saw a 3-point near fall. Did you?
That's what I thought I saw as well. Right now the score is telling us 4-1, but I believe it's 5-0 Perry of Bellingham, as there's about 13 seconds left in the first period here.
Both wrestlers. Are we watching the wrong? Oh,
We may be over here. Okay, 5-1.
no, that's not it.
Okay, 5 seconds left in the first period. And in fact, the first period will come
There
to
you
an
go.
end. So the official
Okay.
score, they did give Pittis that 1-point takedown when the referee stopped the match there for the headgear. So it is 5-1 right now. Perry leading Pittis from Anacortes in the opening match here at Anacortes High School. 113-pounder. Coach Lomsdalen has about 20 seconds in between rounds here, 10, 20 seconds to give some pointers. What is he saying to a guy like Pittis right now to
It
coach him up?
could be a lot of different things. It depends on the match, who you're wrestling. Watch this, watch that. Usually you're giving him some tip for what he should do. Maybe try to stand up or sit out, or whatever he just tried to work as what we call a stand up there. Try to get to his feet and get clear so he can go takedowns again.
As you see, Coach Lomsdalen in his first year leading Anacortes, spent a long time coaching around the county. Again, as we mentioned, the 3-time state champion from Cedar Woolley, great wrestling family as well. Ton of experience over there, and I have to imagine a guy like him, he knows what to do, but it's another thing to get your wrestlers who are unfamiliar with that to do it. It's got to be very frustrating.
Well, it can be, and it can be very rewarding too, because some people really respond to instruction from the bench, and some people don't. You could keep giving. They have their moves that they do, and you're not going to change those much, or maybe a strategy, or sometimes they know what they have to do, but they just can't quite get it done. Oh, we got another turn.
Got Pittis on his back again. Cradle position there, and they're going to award the pin there to Perry, and Perry starts off the match with a pin of Joshua Pittis at the 1:11 mark of the second round, and Perry will be awarded 6 points for his efforts. So he was leading 5-1, took Pittis to the mat, and got the shoulders down flat for a pin. And Pittis will go over, be joined by Coach Lomsdalen, and they'll talk it over. And here's the thing, Coach, is that half an hour, 45 minutes from now, he's going to have to wrestle again. So whatever he's going to shake out of his system there and have to get ready to do it one more time.
Conditioning is a big deal, and he's just got to get over it and face the next man. Indiana Casas just took the forfeit at 120 pounds for Bellingham.
Okay, Casas was one of the state participants last year for Bellingham, so Anacortes will have to forfeit there. And who's our next match there, Coach?
The next match is for Anacortes. We have Claire Walters, and for Bellingham we have Elijah Marquez.
Okay, Elijah Marquez, another one of the talented wrestlers from Bellingham. So Claire will have her hands full with Marquez, and he is wasting no time with the takedown. 2 points there. And you've got a guy as skilled as Marquez going against a wrestler. Is this you just try to end the match as quickly as you can? Are you working on things? Are you trying not to lose? Is he?
You know, there are a couple of philosophies on that. Some people might say, hey, I want you to do this many takedowns and go. To be honest with you, I can tell you what I prefer. I prefer to go out there and pin them, get them over with. Don't, if you're that much better and you can pin them, you pin them, get it off. Don't embarrass them. Don't, if you want to work on your wrestling, you work on it in the wrestling room.
Okay.
And you use it out here in your matches. Don't try to embarrass somebody, and don't try to intentionally hurt somebody.
Yeah. So you've got
Or get hurt yourself trying to extending the match.
Sure. Minute left in the first round. Bellingham up 4-0. As he moves clear onto her back here. Walters trying to stay out of that near fall area. Randy Audette counting, and I believe he gives the tap there. It looks like another pin for Bellingham as Marquez defeats Walters at the 43-second mark of the first period. And Bellingham jumps out to a 24-6 team lead as we move on to the 127 weight pound.
And now we're at 132.
It'll be at 132 now.
Yep.
Okay.
132, we have Mason Gerondale. And from Bellingham, Vaughn McNamara.
Okay, McNamara from Bellingham again in the red. And Gerondale for the Seahawks in the purple as these weights are moving rather quickly here, Coach. And again, kind of what we expected here. We know Anacortes is going to struggle, especially in the lighter weights. Those are some really talented Bellingham wrestlers. But in these middle weights, Anacortes has a chance here to make a mark.
Yeah, it happens a lot. You get a lot of short matches when you have a lot of freshmen that haven't wrestled much, freshmen and sophomores.
Gerondale taken down there. That'll be 2 points for Bellingham. Working back control there. If you're on the bottom here, Coach, you're trying to just spread your body weight out as wide and as low as you can. What's the strategy there?
No, well, what I like to see kids do is get up to their feet, start working to come up, sit back, start doing a sit out or stand up. Not necessarily, I'm not as much as sit out and a mat wrestler type. I want them to get back to their feet and go takedowns.
Looks like a 1-point escape there for Gerondale. It's 2-1, minute left in the first period.
You have certain wrestlers though that are really good mat wrestlers, and they like to keep it on the mat and do sit-outs, turn-ins, that type of wrestling instead of getting back to their feet. Maybe they're not as good on their feet. We got a little turn here on McNamara's got Gerondale turned.
He's got about a minute to hold on here, does Gerondale, if he's going to escape this round. And there's the pin from Randy Audette, so that's 3 consecutive pins for the Red Raiders. They're making easy work of the Seahawks early. At the 49-second mark of the first period, that's McNamara with the pin over Gerondale from Anacortes. So we continue to move here to electric pace, moving on up in the weights now. Who do we have? I believe at 138 now, Coach.
Yep, we got Zach Wenzel from Anacortes and Rory Stevenson from Bellingham. I don't have any years on what grade these kids are in.
Well, 9 out of the 13 wrestlers tonight for the Seahawks will be freshmen or sophomores, and perhaps one more with the injury to Ante Petrus, although they're forfeiting that weight. So both wrestlers going to start on their feet. Take down there for Bellingham. Stevenson gains the back control. I believe gets the 2-point takedown. He does.
Bellingham's working for wrist control. He's got a wrist and a half.
Now turning him onto his back. Near fall, and that is the pin. Again, 4th consecutive pin for the Red Raiders as they are taking control of this match. They lead 36-6, and it's a pin for Stevenson at the 1:22 mark of the first period as he pins Anacortes wrestler. We've got the replay here, Coach, and does a good job grabbing that wrist, as you mentioned, and there's just nowhere for the Anacortes wrestler to go.
When wrist control is a big deal when you're the top wrestler and trying to control their wrists. There's a lot of different moves that you can go with there. But you want to tie them up and start working arm bars or wrists and halves and a lot of different things.
Moved up to the 145-pound weight class. Coach, who do we have out there on the mat?
We have Connor Rogers from Anacortes and Gabe Dahlberg from Bellingham.
Okay, now we're seeing something from
nice
Anacortes. Rogers, who scores a 2-point takedown. So, as we mentioned, Anacortes was going to give up a lot of points early in the match and hopefully work their way back in here in the middle of the heavier weights.
See, Connors has got an arm bar in. He's going for an arm bar and a wrist. And the Bellingham wrestler's doing a good job of getting his hips out. He's trying to sit out and get away. Did a good job of riding him. back to the mat. He's keeping his hips on him, keeping his body weight on him really well.
No, he's trying to take away space. He's trying to constantly keep his
Yeah,
body
you
on
want to
it.
keep your hips in. You want to kind of control him that way. He's got his arms tied up there nicely on a nice arm bar there.
He's got a chance here.
It's a
Does
little
Rogers.
loose right now. If he can keep him there and tighten it up.
It's close. Look at that. Dahlberg rolling out of that near fall. Still haven't had a message from Audette whether he's getting the near fall points or not. There's Lomsdalen imploring his wrestler on, and it looks like Dahlberg has escaped from there. It's a 3-point near fall, though, for Rogers, and he leads 5-0 with 30 seconds left in the first period. Good signs of life there for the Seahawks.
Nice job. I like the way Connor Rogers is controlling Bellingham wrestler's wrists. See, he's having a hard time getting either sitting out or standing up, and he's always keeping control of that one wrist and running it under, trying to work it in for his arm bar.
5 seconds left in the first period.
It's hammerlock. He's got a nice little setup. If he can,
And that'll end the first period there as Rogers leads Dahlberg 5-0. And 3 points for the near fall. Got the initial takedown, and now he's getting instruction from Coach Lomsdalen. Coach Brearley for the Red Raiders barking out his orders as well. His team up 36-6 after 6 matches. I believe Anacortes deferred there, and there you go, Coach. They're both going to stand up and start in the neutral position for the second round.
that's one of the options you can take, neutral. He can take his chances on his feet.
Now, is wrestling like boxing? Is there an orthodox style? Is there a righty versus a lefty dominant? Is there a certain way you attack your opponent?
You know what? You see a little bit of variation in stances, quite a bit of little things. But like I said basically before, you want your feet apart, you want to be balanced, and you want to stay down low enough so you can block shots. If a kid's going to come in, he wants to try to get his hips down and shoot in and get on your legs. That's a fundamental. There are a lot of ways to set it up with different wrists and arm movements, elbow movements, those kind of things, controlling. Okay, we got a stall warning there on the red wrestler. Randy doesn't feel like he was doing enough to be an offensive threat. And you can see when he forced him to go in there and shoot, Connor did a good job of countering it and spinning around, getting his takedown.
2 more points for Rogers. He leads 7-0 now over Gabe Dahlberg here at the 145-pound match.
I really like the way Connor's working on the arms, using his arm bars.
There you go. Connor rolls him over. Began the near fall count. Don't know if he got.
He'll get it a little tighter. I'm not sure what year he is, but I think he's pretty young, isn't he?
I believe he's a sophomore, Connor. And now he's getting those near fall points. These 3 points there. The Red Raider coaching staff looks on. Not a lot they can do. But again, Dahlberg showing some fortitude there. He gets off his back.
Okay, right now it's a 10-point spread. If the match were to end right now, it'd be a major decision.
Couple seconds left here in the period. And there's the stop. That'll be the buzzer, and that'll end the second period. Rogers leads Dahlberg 10-0 here in the 145-pound match. Great sign of life for the Seahawks. They had been pinned in 4 consecutive weights, and now Dahlberg's got a chance, so it looks like he may start up. And Rogers down.
Did you see it had the choice, Luke?
I think that Dahlberg had the choice there.
Okay, he's going to take his chance.
Yeah, this
top.
is his chance to.
He needs to pin to win right at this point, or he's got a lot of points to make up. So he chose top, so that he had a hard time getting out on the bottom. Got turned several times, so it's a good strategic decision for him to start on top and seeing if he can turn. See if he can get Rogers turned to his back.
Now Rogers is up 10-0. Is he actively trying to pin Dahlberg here? Or is he just trying to survive these 2 minutes and take
one
the decision?
step at a time. He's going to try to clear. He's either going to stand up or sit out and try to get his hips away. But what he's going to try to do is work out from the bottom and either go neutral or get behind and get a reversal. neutral, I mean get on their feet and start going takedowns. So Randy doesn't like the work on the bottom. He feels like the Anacortes wrestler could be doing more to work up to his base to get out. By base, I mean he's on his knees and hands. Now a foot will come up, some back pressure, and I'll start working a stand-up. There's a nice stand-up there. He's trying to part his hands. He'll get his hips out and turn in on him.
Both wrestlers are off the mat. They are going to give Rogers the escape, 1 point escape. And Dahlberg's getting some last-second coaching here with 46 seconds left in the third period. Rogers leading Dahlberg 11-0. Bellingham, though, leading the match score, the team score 36-6. On the other side, Burlington Edison ahead 12-0 in the team score over Seaholm. And it looks like Burlington has indeed won another match by decision, so they are ahead 15-0 on the team scoreboard. So here we go, final 46 seconds in the 145-pound match. Connor Rogers from Anacortes against Gabe Dahlberg of Bellingham. And at this point, Coach, I imagine both wrestlers just trying to hang on. Extremely exhausted. And
if technically what Bellingham wants to do is get nice takedown there.
So Rogers going for the pin now, trying to end it here with 20 seconds left. Get all 6 points. He at least got the takedown and a near fall. That'll give him a 16-0 lead. So if nothing else, it'll be a technical fall. And will that end the match right there, Coach?
That'll end it right there.
Okay.
And Anacortes will get 5 team points.
Okay, so a technical fall. And you get 5 if you win by more than 15, 4 if you win by more than 10, 3 if it's just a regular decision there. So Anacortes picks up the big 5 team points.
Nice match.
Great match from Connor Rogers. He controlled Dahlberg from the beginning. Dahlberg appears to be maybe working with an injury there. He's suffering a little bit on the sideline, but Anacortes takes advantage, and now we move up to the 152-pound match. You'll see the replay here, Coach, of the final takedown.
Nice job, got in on his legs, lifted him up. At that point in the match, Bellingham's best bet was to try to throw or get a head and arm or some other type of throw and get a quick pin with that.
So here's Levi Dahlberg for Bellingham against Caleb
nice
Mattingly.
shot. Nice low single.
Boy, looking at Rogers, that double leg takedown, we got to get him out for the football team, the linebacker there.
That was really nice. Okay, he's got a hammerlock there. That's a nice tight half. That's hard to get out of.
Mattingly trying to struggle to keep from getting pinned here. And Levi Dahlberg now for Bellingham. As Coach said's got it locked in pretty good. Got the hips right in his face, and that will do it. At the 121 mark of the first period, Levi Dahlberg pins Caleb Mattingly in the 152-pound weight class.
Pretty decisively. He looks like a pretty good physical specimen to me, like you said, to get him on the football team. Okay, now we're going at, we got a forfeit at 160. Jack Fields is going to take a forfeit for Bellingham, is what we have in the book.
They'll march out there and get the hand raised, and then we'll move up to the 170-pound class. And here's a good wrestler for Anacortes, Alex Havel. He's going to go against Van Werden from Bellingham. And Havel's one of those guys that is coming around for Coach Lomsdalen, a guy that once Smith graduates this year may be able to kind of pass the torch to. Coach is thinking about. We're going to see here, and a kid who, as you said, you're looking for leaders to step up in this program, kind of help retool the program for Anacortes, and Havel might be one of those kids.
Yeah, I haven't, this is my first time watching him, so he's new to me.
Right away, Havel trying to avoid the takedown. And Havel in the purple against Brom Van Werden in the red.
He's working on his hands, trying to break the grip and get his hips out and so he can turn and face.
Bellingham leads the team score 48-11. A little more than midway through the match.
Looking at a little spiral ride here. He's got a half in. You can see down the inside he's trying to put some head pressure on there and work him over to his back or drag him across the front. He's got his leg in.
Where's the attack point here for Hovels? Is he just trying to escape, or is there a way he can reverse this handle?
Well, he can do both, and right now he wants to keep moving. He's doing a good job of getting his feet. You notice as you're getting to his feet, there's no chance for the offensive wrestler on top to get him in some type of a pinhold. He's just kind of hanging on and working to get him back to the match. That's why I like to get stand-ups. If you're working to get your feet, you're staying out of a lot of bad things like that hold right there.
Now Hovels onto his back. There's a mad rush now as Van Worden trying to lock that in, and he's getting some near fall points now. Hovels
Nice
able to get the
tight
shoulders
half on
off
the
the
pinhold. The first half.
Hovels working still for Anacortes, and
Yep,
we're going to
there
get a
it
pin
is.
called there at the 18-second mark of the first period. That's Brom Van Worden with the pin over Alex Hovels, and that'll be 6 more points for the Bellingham Red Raiders. Bellingham, one of the top teams in the Northwest Conference, and certainly showing it here tonight.
Okay, next match at 182 for Anacortes, Parker Smith. Bellingham, Aiden Helming.
Van Worden to finish up there at the 160-pound weight class, took 3rd in the Brian Hill tournament about a month ago. So a good wrestler there, and he showed it against
Nice little
Hovels.
shot there, cleared his elbows, ducked under, shot in on a nice double.
You see these Red Raider wrestlers really wasting no time and being aggressive. They're taking it to the Seahawks. They've got the advantage. They are the better team, and you know they aren't playing around here, Coach. They're being the aggressors.
Their coach was an aggressive wrestler. I can see that coming out in these guys. He was a Northwest League wrestler back in when Coach Compton and I were working together.
So Smith trying to survive here, as few Seahawks have through the first round. And you see Helming there. He's got the control over the shoulder. As you said, he's got that right hand on his wrist, and that prevents Smith from kicking out of that one, and that'll be a pin at the 1:13 mark of the first period. Score now stands Bellingham 60, Anacortes 11.
Okay, so we get Connor Smith now.
Well, this is what we came for here.
Senior
the
night.
On senior night, it's Connor Smith. He is the best wrestler for Anacortes, the lone senior on the squad. And who's he going to wrestle from Bellingham?
Simeon Murphy. Simeon, not sure what year he is.
And at 195, we're seeing the bigger the wrestlers get, Coach, typically the older they get. That's just kind of the way it works. Small guys are younger. And will these guys wrestle at 170 up, or do these guys start in the 140 weight classes and just keep growing? How does that work throughout their high school career?
You'll see a progression in weights from freshman to senior year a lot. Some kids will start down there around 120 and only go up to 150 or so. Some kids will start at the 130s and end up being your 220-pounder, that sort of thing. Every kid's different. Coit Cooper stayed at 141 or whatever it was for 2 years, and Coach Simpson, he stayed down. His weight stayed down right in the middle weights from 135 to 140 most of the time. So they're all different. Some kids will quit growing weight-wise.
Okay, so that looks like a 2-point takedown for Murphy, and then a 1-point escape now for Smith. And you said Smith likes to wrestle from behind.
I don't know if he likes to.
Maybe just has a habit
but,
of it.
but what I've seen is quite a few comebacks towards the end of the match. I don't think he really intends to get behind.
Well, he's got a flair for the dramatic.
He really does, and he's got some upper body things from his feet. You'll see him do. We used to call it a cow catcher, and he'll take him down to his back. The 5-point takedown where you get 2-point takedown, 3-point near fall, and win the match or get your pin. He's got some weapons where he can finish the match in a hurry.
About 10 seconds left here in the first period.
If he can stretch out and put Murphy's head on the mat, he can get his 2 points. Put some head pressure there and spin around behind.
And Murphy's holding the leg there, and you're seeing from Audette, no, there's no control there, so that'll end the first period.
There's one of our little Hawkeyes tapping the ref with the towel.
Those guys are having
We'll be
a good
watching
time.
him in a few years.
Yeah. So we'll go to the second period here. It looks like Bellingham has the choice, and they will defer to Smith, and Smith will choose. What does Coach say? Coach Lonsdalen says you'll start down. So he trails.
Most of the time you'll choose down or defer. He feels like he can get points by getting out in an escape or a reversal.
In our other match, Burlington Edison leads Seaholm 18-0 in the early goings. This score,
There you go.
Bellingham 60, Anacortes 11.
It's best if you're on bottom at this point to get some kind of hand control as you stand up.
Again, Connor Smith and Simeon Murphy here at the 195-pound weight class.
There's his 1 point escape.
That'll tie the match up at 2 with a minute 30 left in the second period. Working on that takedown is Smith.
There you go. He gets his hand. If he'll get his hand around his back, he'll get 2 points. There you go.
There you go, the 2-point takedown. And immediately that left hand reaches for the left wrist of Murphy. You control
Working
that
on-
wrist, you control that arm. What does that do for a wrestler?
Keeps him from moving too much. It's really hard. You got to clear your wrists to get up. And what he's doing right now is trying to break the Bellingham wrestler off of his base. He's trying to get him down flat and take those wrists and work it into one of his pin holds. You know, arm bar, a hammer lock, and there are lots of things that Coach Lonsdalen was good at too, that he's probably brought to the team. But yeah, he's trying. The Bellingham wrestlers trying to get some hand control and get out, and Connor's trying to get some wrist control and get him into a pin hold so he can end this match.
Well, they were too far off the mat there, so Randy Audette brings them back to the center circle. 40 seconds left here in the second period. Smith leading 4-2 over Murphy of Bellingham.
Right now, Connor's doing a good job of keeping his weight on the bottom wrestler, which really makes him tired. He's got to break him off his base again, bump him down if he can.
Murphy looks like he gets the escape there. Not quite. Not yet. He does. There's a point
There's one.
escaping. So with 13 seconds left in the period, both wrestlers back on their feet. Smith back to work. Going for that takedown. He's got a chance here to score. Just before the buzzer. 4 seconds now. Will he get the points? He does. He gets the 2-point takedown as the buzzer sounds. So that'll be 2 more points for Connor Smith. He leads heading into the third period 6-3.
Those are huge. Last second points make the difference in so many matches. He gets that final takedown. Now it's a 3-point match instead of 1, and that was awesome. Those are the kind of finishes you want.
Now Murphy will start down to start the third period, so he's looking now for, I would imagine, an escape and then a takedown to tie this match up.
Right, that's where he wants to be.
See Coach Lonsdalen there. I would imagine, Coach, with the varied experience for Coach Lonsdalen's wrestlers, some matches he can scream and shout and yell across the match, and maybe with the more experienced wrestlers, he kind of just lets them go. Is that kind of how you feel it out?
Yeah, you know, sometimes when it's really exciting, you tend to give them too much feedback. Sometimes you just got to let them wrestle, but there are some times when you can really help them. Most of the time, they're doing the best to try to do the right thing, but there are a lot of technique things you can help them with, and this is a nice force half.
Okay, just about a minute left in this match. Connor Smith leads Simeon Murphy 6-3. Anacortes trails in the team standings, but on senior night, you'd like to see Connor come away with the win here.
Sometimes you can tell a kid the right thing at the right time to help him. He's doing a good job of keeping control. He's really working to try to get the wrists. Randy's not much for stalling. He's going to give somebody a call here pretty quick, one way or the other. He doesn't like them to sit still too much. He wants the bottom guy coming up, and he wants the top guy working for a fall.
30 seconds now, and it's actually Coach Lonsdalen who's barking the orders now at Smith. He wants Smith to finish this thing now, be the aggressor. Go get the pin. Coach really for Anna.
Good control on top. Get you.
15 seconds now.
Another try at the force half.
down to 10. Smith just has to ride it out. And it looks like Murphy may be content to do that here as we're in the final seconds of the third period. And that will do it. And that'll be a win for the senior on senior night. Connor Smith, a 6-3 decision, gets the 3 points for his team over Simeon Murphy in the 195-pound weight class. So 3 hard-earned points for Smith. And a good match all around, Coach. He started behind at 2-1 and then came around and got a couple takedowns there to seal the victory.
You know, closer in score than it would seem, you know, if you watch the match. Connor was in pretty good control the whole time. Not much of a threat there for losing the match. So it was a nice controlled match. Connor wrestled well.
I believe we're getting a forfeit here maybe at the 220-pound weight class, Coach.
It says forfeit, but I see an Anacortes wrestler coming out.
Okay, so is Anacortes going to get the...
I don't know who this is, Luke.
So I believe this is Vaden Schwab. He's going to get the forfeit points, and then Anacortes will forfeit the heavyweights as their heavyweight, Ante Petrish, suffered an injury, is unable to contest in tonight's match.
Good.
So that will conclude the first half of wrestling for us tonight, as Bellingham will take the team win. I believe a final score will be 72, or is it 66-20? We'll find out the official score here in a moment. And now we'll wait, Coach, as Burlington leads Seaholm 30-0 on the left-hand side of the screen on the dark purple mat. And Seaholm will switch and come over here and wrestle against the Seahawks. So as they wrap it up, Coach, let's put a bow on this first match. Obviously, Bellingham's the better team than Anacortes. They've got a lot more experience. They've got better wrestlers. But a couple bright spots there. It was good to see Connor Smith get the win on senior night. And I thought that Connor Rogers, with his major decision over Gabe Dahlberg there, was really the highlight, I thought, for Anacortes. He controlled that match from start to finish.
That was a nice match to watch. Coming in here, I didn't know what to expect from any of the wrestlers except for Connor Smith. And that was a nice match to watch. He's a talented wrestler, Connor Rogers.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll preview the Seaholm Anacortes tilt. And again, final score, the team totals, Bellingham 66, Anacortes 20. Lots of pins for Bellingham, a couple highlights for Anacortes. Connor Rogers, the major decision, 16-0 over Gabe Dahlberg. And then the senior Connor Smith getting the 6-3 decision over Simeon Murphy at the 195-pound weight class. We'll take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back with more boys wrestling. You're watching Boys Wrestling on AHS Live.
Kennelly Keys Music in Anacortes is your one-stop shop for all your musical needs. As a full-service music retailer, Kennelly Keys offers everything from sales and rentals to music lessons and repairs. Whatever you need, Kennelly Keys Music has you covered. Visit our website at KennellyKeysMusic.com, follow us on Facebook, or stop by the store and speak with our knowledgeable staff. And make sure to check out our new music hall. Kennelly Keys Music, located at 1904 Commercial Avenue in Anacortes.
At the Senior College, we believe that learning should never stop.
Anacortes Senior College offers lifelong learning opportunities to adults over 50 in a relaxed atmosphere. No tests or homework. ASC is run by volunteers, including retired college professors, scientists, artists, business, and medical professionals. Fall, winter, and spring courses are held Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For more information of fall of 2016 classes, go to seniorcollege.org.
The Action Club is a Kiwanis club for adults with disabilities. Every second Saturday of every month, you can head to the Port of Anacortes web lockers at Seafarers Way and Q Avenue. Once there, you can recycle your computers, monitors, laptops, tablets, Kindles, portable DVD players, e-readers, and televisions. The money we collect during the e-cycle is used in several ways to benefit community service projects.
Go a few blocks into Old Town Anacortes and you'll find Dad's Diner. With breakfast and lunch served all day, you'll definitely find the perfect meal. All of their food is prepared fresh each day, from the delicious house salad with salmon to the savory BLT. Dad's Diner, open Tuesday through Sunday, is located on Commercial between 9th and 10th Street. Come on down and grab a bite.
And welcome back to Williams Gymnasium, the site of tonight's double duel with the homestanding Burlington Edison Tigers and Anacortes Seahawks taking on the visiting Seaholm Mariners and Bellingham Red Raiders. In our first match, it was Anacortes against Bellingham. Anacortes a little outmatched in most of those tilts there. They lose the team score 66-20. Not a big surprise there, Coach. But now they'll have a chance as Seaholm and Burlington are wrapping up here, as we see Coach Lomsdalen on the screen there giving his team some encouragement. We'll have a chance now. Seaholm, going to be a few more closer matches, I predict, there with the Seaholm Mariners. But again, some good signs there. Connor Rogers was the real bright spot, we thought, for the Seahawks. Again, this is a team that's 9 out of their 13 wrestlers are going to be freshmen or sophomores. They're going to take their lumps, but hopefully, you hope, this works out for them in the long run.
Yeah, that's the long run's the key, Luke. You don't do it overnight. We knew that the amount of kids, the numbers are low, they're young. This is going to happen. So you got to look at the big picture and the long haul, trying to build it over a stretch of time. I actually think Michael Lomsdalen's in a good. This could be a good thing for him because of the health of the youth program, the Hawkeyes, and what they're getting done. They're getting a lot of kids out, and I think if he can maintain that, get them out into the mat room, he can build some good wrestlers on his strengths of what he knows and how he coaches. It's actually a pretty good spot for him, I think.
And I've noticed that the match I saw over there at Burlington Edison, and then tonight, Coach Lomsdalen, very vocal. And we can see him now if we can get a camera on him right now. He's actually working shooting techniques right now with Joshua Pittis, who suffered a defeat in his first matchup. And working with Pittis right now, we see there on the AHS Live broadcast. What are the type of things that he's talking to wrestlers between matches? And then secondary question there, Coach, is I don't. Maybe it's more of a comment. I just like to see the coach work with his players. Whenever he has a chance, always coaching. He's not yelling. He's coaching players, and that's nice to see.
Absolutely. I've heard it said before. They need help. They don't need to be yelled at. They need help, and he's trying to help them. He's right there. He's just showing them a little bit of technique for setups for takedowns. And that's the stuff you do all the time in the room and at matches. There are only a few times, I think, where you want to raise. If you're that kind of a person, you're going to raise your voice at a kid. It's when they willfully disobey, or the effort's not there, or the combination of both.
Yeah.
That the rest of the time you want to make them feel good about themselves. You want them to do well because they want to do well. So you're out there trying to help them, and I see that with what he's doing here. I think he's doing the right things. He'll be okay.
And I believe we're seeing their former Anacortes great Coit Cooper in the building as well, talking to Michael. I believe that's Coit down there, and. One of the greats at Anacortes High School.
It's good to see Coit back. Okay, I got a story.
That's 2 3-time state champions standing shoulder to shoulder right there.
Right there. That's 6 state champs.
Wow.
6 years of it. Okay, so Coach Simpson and Coach Cooper were in the same weight class in high school. Coach Cooper's senior year and Coach Simpson's. We were looking forward to an all Anacortes state final. And that you can take 2 wrestlers in the same weight, and Coach Simpson was good enough. PJ was good enough to do that, we thought. And PJ got a concussion at the regional tournament and wasn't able to go. I think that was the season that we got fourth place at the state tournament. You put in 20 team points for what Coach Simpson could have done for us, and it would have been a nicer trophy.
Yeah. Well.
So. But that's a good story. You don't often get 2 wrestlers in the same weight class capable of doing that.
Well, and you were talking about times that seem so distant ago, but You know, you talk 15, 20 years ago when you were taking guys out of this high school every year, not just one guy or two guys, but an entire squad of guys that were competing at the state tournament. And you had lots of state titleists. You had Timmy Summers, the heavyweight. You know, you had guys like you said, Coit Cooper, and among others. And there's a whole wall full of guys that have placed in the state. So it's not unlikely. It looks dim right now, but it maybe isn't that far away for a guy like Coach Lomsdalen, who might be the right guy to build this program up to what it once was.
Yeah, those kids, the Coit Cooper years when you had John Maley was a state champ, and we had some other kids in there, several state placers during that time to fill in that were got a lot of points at the state tournament. A lot of those stars we knew were coming. We knew from about Coit Cooper for a long time before he got to the high school, and John Maley, long time, Breckenridge, and some of the other kids. But there was also a supporting cast there that started wrestling in junior high or in high school that Coach Compton coaxed along and taught them a lot about wrestling that did really well. And we had some state placers there too. The Jimmy Rains, Vaughn Bullfinch. Man, there's a lot of names. There were a lot of good kids in there that were the supporting cast that learned how to wrestle in this building. But I remember, I know this is a good time killer time, but we wrestled Lake Stevens in the the Dream Duels.
The perennial power, Lake Stevens.
And we're one of the few teams to beat Lake Stevens. Back in the day, we did it.
Ever.
And,
people might not realize one of the few teams to ever beat. Lake Stevens simply does not lose.
Oh, absolutely, in a dual meet. Not very many people have done that. And I remember saying to myself then, I might not ever be a coach on any kind of a team that is this good ever again. So I was enjoying every moment of it. It was fun.
Well, you have to take the highs with the lows, I guess. And again, as we're waiting for this Burlington-Edison Seaholm match to finish up here, Burlington leads the team scores 36-0. They're a little more than midway through that match, so we'll be bringing you the Anacortes Seaholm match shortly as we get another pin there from Burlington in the middleweights. So they are taking their toll on the Mariners. And the strategy here now, Coach, Anacortes wrapped it up quickly. Are you trying to stay warm? Are you allowing yourself some rest time? And this is just 2 matches. A lot of times these guys will wrestle 3, 4, perhaps even 5 matches in one day. So it's not unusual for them to do this.
That's a good question, Luke, because during the day in a tournament, it's the wrestler's responsibility to warm up. You teach them a little bit about warming up and what to do, but it's their responsibility to get themselves ready for a match. They got to be out and go. It's not good to go out there cold. Some of them will want to go, well, I don't want to use too much energy. Coit Cooper was one of the best. He would work up a sweat. He wanted to be sweaty when he went out there. Of course, his matches would only go about 30 seconds with his quick pins.
Well.
But so when it comes close to their match tonight, you'll see them doing a little bit of warm-up stuff off to the side, or they should be. Some more than others, and it just depends on their own personal, what the coach wants and how they like it.
You'll like this. This is one of my favorite warm-up stories. The late, great Kurt Cramey was telling us at a clinic one time, the great former Linden coach, and he started his career at Burlington-Edison. He was under the legendary Glenn Rickert there at Burlington-Edison, and he couldn't wait. He was a young coach, and he was firing up the players before the game, and he was going and high-fiving them and fist-bumping them and, getting these guys excited. And he couldn't wait for what Coach Rickert was going to say to inspire these guys and pump them up. I mean, this is late 80s, early 90s. This is Burlington-Edison powerhouse football. And so Coach Rickert brings everybody in. They're in the locker room. He goes, everybody come on in. And Kurt Cramey, Hall of Famer Kurt Cramey, he's just waiting on pins and needles. So, what is he going to say to inspire these guys? And Coach Rickert looks around the room and goes, all right, boys, let's go out there. And opens the door, and they head on out, and, they beat somebody 50-0. And that's one of the great stories of, you can prime everybody and try to get everything perfect, but like you said, a guy like Coit Cooper, if you've got the talent, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're ready to go when the whistle blows, that's about all that matters.
You can't talk yourself into a win. You really can't.
No.
Seahawks, I think, found that out this year. Yeah, you can't. Talking only goes so far. You got to back it up.
Well, as we wait here for the conclusion of the Burlington Seaholm wrestling match, Burlington leads 42-0 in the team totals. We'll take another quick break, and then we'll get to your Anacortes Seaholm match here shortly. So you are watching Boys Wrestling on AHS Live. We'll be back in 2 minutes after this.
Let's go. Okay, boys. What was that one somebody said, what did you tell them at halftime? Nothing.
Well, were you here for that Orton game we had this year, or we were just off? We were down like 20. Yeah, we're down like 20.
Behind every great Anacortes club and team, there's an unspoken hero. People that get us our team gear, organize our team dinners, and support us in everything else we need. From every student athlete in AHS, thank you, Saba, for the football team's two-a-day shirts, the volleyball team's warm-up gear, and everything else in between. Saba, the Seahawk Athletic Booster Association.
Each year, thousands of fantastic pictures are taken by yearbook photographers of AHS sporting events, assemblies, performing arts, and more. The best of these photos are now available to you online. Just point your browser to ahs.smugmug.com. You can download digital images or order prints right from your computer or phone with the SmugMug app. How cool is that? Support the rhododendron and your students by using ahs.smugmug.com.
And welcome back to Williams Gymnasium. Here is double duel night here at Anacortes High School. It is senior night. We've already seen the lone Anacortes senior, Connor Smith, win his first match of the night, a 6-3 decision over Simeon Murphy of Bellingham. And Bellingham won the team match 66-20. And Anacortes got a few wins in there as well. A couple highlights, Connor Rogers with his 16-point major decision over Gabe Dahlberg. And again, we said the 6-3 win for Connor Smith over Simeon Murphy, as Burlington continues to have their way with Seaholm right now, although Seaholm in the match right in front of us has a chance to pick up their first points of the night. And Burlington, one of the powers left in the Northwest Conference. Coach, they're probably not going to compete for the state title, but they're going to be in the running. They've got a number of wrestlers here ranked in the top, say 8 or 10 in the state, and it starts with 120-pound junior Isaac Lopez. He is a good one. Of course, you've got freshman Cale Peth at 126. He's a kid. Ty Peth won the state title there for Burlington as well, so some lineage there. And then at 195 pounds, Jacob Fleury, really high on everybody's list here. He's a junior, so he still has room to grow. Him and Connor Smith took part in an epic battle to kick the season off. That was the best match I've seen this year. And so Burlington does have enough guys at enough weights to make a statement at the state tournament.
Yeah, at the state tournament, to place in the top 10, you're going to have a couple outstanding finalists, or you're going to have maybe a finalist type and 3 or 4 higher placers. It takes 3 or 4 kids to end up in the money before you're in high places if you're going to bring home a trophy of the top 4.
Yeah, it looks like Seaholm has in fact picked up their first points of the match, a pin. So that'll bring the team score to 42-6. And as they continue over there on the left-hand side of the screen. So again, Anacortes waits, and as you mentioned, just kind of stay loose, keep yourself warm, ready to go, but conserve some energy. At this point in the season, Coach, how much dieting are these guys doing? I know at some point they're allowed an extra weight or two, pound or two that they can gain throughout the season just as part of the safety structure built into the sport. What does the diet program look like for the wrestlers at this point in the season?
At this point in the season, they started out the season at the true weight of 106, 113, all the different weight classes. After Christmas, at one point in the season, and I think it's towards the end of January, we got a pound allowance. In other words, the weight class truly went to 107, 114, 121. And then again, another, month or so later at the state tournament, I believe it's all the way up to 2 pounds. And then every day you wrestle, if you wrestle 2 days in a row, you get another pound. So at the state tournament, let's say you, the 106 weight class went up, by then it was actually 108. And then day 2 it was 109 is what they had to weigh in at. So they give them those allowance for growth. Early in the season, like I said, talked about a little bit before, is they'll come in at the beginning of the season and get a measurement. They'll take a body fat evaluation and you weigh them, and they'll analyze it, and each kid will come out with a weight loss plan and how far down they can go to a weight class. They can only lose down to a certain percent of weight to a level of, I think it was 12% for boys.
Okay.
Yeah. Right down in that range. They can't go below that.
So part of the safety structure built into the sport.
Yep.
And you're not going to deny it. Cutting weight is part of the sport, getting down to your weight class. But again, trying to put in some safety allowances there to prevent injury really to kids and becoming unhealthy as well. It's certainly not anything that someone wants to do. And you're seeing a lot of more safety aspects built into a lot of sports. Of course, the big one is football. We see the improvements not only in the technique teaching, but also in the actual equipment itself. And again, you've got wrestling, not really an equipment sport, but you've got within the rules a way to protect the wrestlers really from themselves, because I got a feeling, Coach, that if those rules weren't in there, these guys are going to do whatever it takes to get down to it.
Yeah, you know, before they changed it, we saw a lot of kids lose a lot of weight really fast and do all kinds of crazy things, and it's better now. It really is. It's a better way to do it. It's easier on the kids, and it's the right way to do it. A wrestler can go out and maintain their energy and lose weight at the same time if they do it on the right weight loss program.
See a few Anacortes wrestlers trying to stay loose and work on some things, as Seaholm and Burlington now have circled around through the heavier weights as they're finishing up their team matches.
Coit Cooper was one of the best at managing weight. He understood it very well, the diet aspect of what to eat, what not to eat, and how to keep the weight in a certain range so that you didn't, you don't want to go home on a weekend and then come back on Monday weighing 10 pounds more.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've done that.
Yeah. Everybody's got some personal experience there. We get another pin there for Burlington Edison.
You know, they're only at what? That was 160-pound match?
160. They're circling into the heavier weights now again. We can do the math there. That's 8, 9, so at least 9 weights. So it could only be 4 weights left now between those two.
They must have had quite a few matches go the distance over there.
Because again, we're waiting for Seaholm to be done and come over to the right-hand side of the screen.
Boy, few things as exciting as 2 evenly matched teams, and they put them in the middle of the gym with the light on and the match going back and forth. You were there at a few of those, weren't you?
Well, you know, and that's the thing is we see they do some of these double duels, and it helps fill the weights certainly, but there's nothing really that quite matches. As you said, you put the center light on in the center circle and the lights dim all around, and you know, there's usually some Furic rock music in the background that gets everybody a little excited, and it is a good time. And as you mentioned, there are maybe a number of things that are keeping some kids out of the wrestling ranks. However, anything that I think the teams or the schools or the athletic directors can do to make it maybe more exciting experience would be certainly looked upon brightly. Although in this format here, Coach, what you've got is looks like maybe we have an injury in the Burlington Edison match. What do you got there, Coach?
I'm not sure what he's doing.
Is it a dislocation of the hip, perhaps?
It looks like this wrestler's had a certain injury problem he's been dealing with, because they came out and knew what to do right away.
You see trainer Corey Smith there attending. And we'll say this right now, Anacortes extremely blessed to have Corey Smith as their full-time trainer here at Anacortes High School. He has other duties as well. He's a very busy individual, but he's at all the wrestling and football and basketball games. And Corey there in the purple sweatshirt does a great job for Anacortes High School athletics. I think that'll bring an end to that match. Yeah, it's good to see the Tiger there able to jog off under his own power. And maybe they'll finish it up either way. Speaking of the Tigers, head coach Kirk Hamilton, you know him for a long time, does a great job.
Kirk's one of the great guys. As a matter of fact, their whole staff is. They're always a lot of fun and easygoing. I mean, you spent a lot of time at tournaments together during the season. You know, you got the 3 season-ending tournaments, plus you'll probably see, you know, depending on your choice of where you want to wrestle during the season at different tournaments. We used to cross paths all the time and spend a lot of time with those guys. Real class group. I can tell why they have a lot of kids turning out for wrestling, because they're a good group to be around.
And Anacortes trying to kind of rebuild the program. They've got a guy that can, we think, get it done. Coach Michael Lomsdalen assisted PJ Simpson and, of course, Michael Doan. Again, those guys have their hands full this year, and we talked to Coach Lomsdalen before the matches started. A little disappointing. As you said, he got hired late. He had a couple juniors and some seniors, some quality wrestlers that decided not to turn out. Maybe that had something to do with it. But either way, his younger wrestlers are going to get the experience now. And as you said, he's got a large number of wrestlers in the even younger ranks, so he's got a chance to make an impact here within the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the junior high season starts pretty soon, and they should start seeing a few more numbers from Rodney's program. The Hawkeyes coming into theirs and doing better, and you know, maybe it gets a little more popular. Maybe we get a couple of kids in each weight, and then pretty soon you're filling the weights, and you'll have two good quality wrestlers in each weight. You'll be a very good team. If you're filling the weights now in a dual meet, if you have one wrestler in each weight class, you're automatically a decent dual meet team right there.
There you go.
But you know what? If you start getting your team to the point where you get a good quality JV backup, you're very strong at those team tournaments and the district and regional tournaments.
Well, and that's who you're wrestling in practice. Is that, you know, that's right. You're wrestling that other guy in your weight class or the guy in a similar weight class. So the deeper you are, the better your practice can be, and by virtue, the better you become.
You see that a lot at pick up the state tournament program, and you'll see, you know, they'll put the names of the wrestlers from each school in there and their weight class. And you start looking at the schools that sent kids to the tournament, and they'll send like 4 kids. Well, one of them's a, 120, and one of them's a 126. Well, they practice together. One of them's a 182, one's a 195. They work out together. You see that. It's real common. You'll see that a lot. So, good practice partners make good wrestlers. It helps with their confidence. It helps with their technique. It helps with their conditioning. Going back to the confidence, they start seeing each other doing well, and they just feed off each other. So,
all right. Well, as we're again wrapping up this Seaholm and Burlington match, we're going to take another quick break here and hopefully get sooner than later to the Anacortes Seaholm match. We thank you for joining us tonight on AHS Live, and we'll take a quick break here. We'll be back after 3 minutes with more inside Williams Gymnasium. You're watching Boys Wrestling on AHS Live.
well, that it might be okay when we go against them. A lot of these guys are going the distance.
What are you guys doing?
Our 6'4".
Kennelly Keys Music in Anacortes is your one-stop shop for all your musical needs. As a full-service music retailer, Kennelly Keys offers everything from sales and rentals to music lessons and repairs. Whatever you need, Kennelly Keys Music has you covered. Visit our website at KennellyKeysMusic.com Follow us on Facebook or stop by the store and speak with our knowledgeable staff. And make sure to check out our new music hall, Canela Keys Music, located at 1904 Commercial Avenue in Anacortes.
At the Senior College, we believe that learning should never stop.
Anacortes Senior College offers lifelong learning opportunities to adults over 50 in a relaxed atmosphere. No tests or homework. ASC is run by volunteers, including retired college professors, scientists, artists, business, and medical professionals. Fall, winter, and spring courses are held Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For more information of fall of 2016 classes, go to seniorcollege.org.
The Action Club is a Kiwanis club for adults with disabilities. Every second Saturday of every month, you can head to the Port of Anacortes web lockers at Seafarers Way and Q Avenue. Once there, you can recycle your computers, monitors, laptops, tablets, Kindles, portable DVD players, e-readers, and televisions. The money we collect during the e-cycle is used in several ways to benefit community service projects.
Thank you.
Go a few blocks into Old Town Anacortes and you'll find Dad's Diner. With breakfast and lunch served all day, you'll definitely find the perfect meal. All of their food is prepared fresh each day, from the delicious house salad with salmon to the savory BLT. Dad's Diner, open Tuesday through Sunday, is located on Commercial between 9th and 10th Street. Come on down and grab a bite.
Behind every great Anacortes club and team, there's an unspoken hero. People that get us our team gear, organize our team dinners, and support us in everything else we need. From every student athlete in AHS, thank you, Saba, for the football team's two-a-day shirts, the volleyball team's warm-up gear, and everything else in between. Saba, the Seahawk Athletic Booster Association.
Each year, thousands of fantastic pictures are taken by yearbook photographers of AHS sporting events, assemblies, performing arts, and more. The best of these photos are now available to you online. Just point your browser to ahs.smugmug.com. You can download digital images or order prints right from your computer or phone with the SmugMug app. How cool is that? Support the rhododendron and your students by using ahs.smugmug.com.
And welcome back to Williams Gymnasium. Luke Taylor alongside the coach, Bill Evans. And Coach, we get a forfeit there on the Burlington Edison Seahome side. Going to help hasten the pace over there as Burlington Edison leads the team standings 54-10. Of course, Burlington, the elite team here tonight. Burlington and Anacortes hosting Seahome and Bellingham. As Seahome's putting up a tough fight in a lot of these matches, Coach. They're going the distance. They're not getting a lot of reward out of it, other than they're wrestling a good team, Burlington, tightly, and should be exciting when Bellingham flops over there to wrestle Burlington. But, of course, we're going to stick around for most of the Anacortes Seahome matches, and that's where Anacortes has a chance to get some points on the board. We know a couple guys there are going to hold their own, but looking for some better performances out of some of the lower weights. Joshua Pittis, I know, was not happy with the way his match went earlier tonight. He's been working with Coach Lomsdalen during the intermission, and he's talking to Coach Simpson as well over there to get a few pointers before the match. What's from a psychological standpoint, you lose a match, you get pinned, but now you got to wrestle a half an hour, 45 minutes later. Does that naturally make a guy less aggressive? You got to fight the inactivity there. How do you attack that as a wrestler and a coach?
You know, you want to try to approach each match the same and get in the same mindset. But you know what? It is hard for some kids. You'll see kids go into a tournament and wrestle really well, and then the next match will be a good one. And then all of a sudden you'll go a week later and you'll see them, and some of the kids they're wrestling are the same people, and they're a different guy. They're not as aggressive, or they're missing a lot of things they usually get, or they look tired. So that you can see some differences. But on a night like tonight, let's say you take Mr. Pittis, I would think that he would go into this next match as aggressive as he did the first match, and it didn't turn out really well for him, but it wasn't because he looked timid or anything. He was going after it. But I would expect to see him come out strong, and it looks like the Seahome at 113. Is that Josh's weight, 113?
Yeah, should be.
Looks like he's going to have another nice little match there because Seahome's got their 113. Rim short. Is it Cale Simpson?
Yeah, Cale Simpson took second there at the Mount Baker Invite.
In one of the tournaments this year. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, some of the other tournament placers for the Mariners, the Battle at the Border, Andy Waters, their best wrestler, took fourth at 170 pounds. So we mentioned Cale Simpson second at 113 pounds in the Mount Baker Invite, and Rem Schroyer was fourth at 160 pounds. The Mariners are 3-4 on the year in dual match, in league play, I should say, and 3-4 in league matches, and then 4-4 overall. Anacortes again at 1-3 and 1-4. Their one win coming over Nooksack Valley. And again, you knew it was going to be tough sledding for Anacortes, but as you said, you're just looking for improvement night in, night out.
Right.
And as far as I know from a football perspective, when you have older players who know that not just the philosophy, but they know the pace of practice, they know how practice works, they can get everything kind of going for you. It's difficult when you don't have a lot of those older guys that can start up practice for you, that can keep the pace going, that can help everybody fall in line. That's a really difficult process that these Anacortes coaches have to go through.
It's it's a lot the same in a wrestling room. Some of the coaches can help set that pace too, but there's nothing like a traditional set of expectations that everybody lives up to, and when you get a large amount of kids out, I'm not sure that even has to be, but when you get a quality of a kid that sets a pace and tries to live to your expectation and keep that pace up, it really, really does help.
Now, you had a lot of matches inside this gym back in the day, and any that stick out in particular inside Williams Gymnasium here?
Yes, I can remember we were wrestling. Bellingham was very good at the time, and so were we. We had a match here, and Colin Thorne sprained his ankle, and it was a match where it was one of those matches. You look at the 14 matches and you'll say, okay, this many will go. These guys, we're not going to beat that guy, and we're going to beat that guy, and that guy. And they're going to, and then we have like 6 matches. You go, this could go either way. All right. Well, Colin had one of those, and he got hurt. And it was kind of a sprained ankle where it would have stopped most people, and it actually did for him in practice the next week or so. But he finished the match kind of dragging one leg with a good wrestler and won by a short, by a close score. And we won the match, and it was a real, real close match. So we beat him, but that was one that stuck out. I can remember some heavyweight matches when it came down to some crunch times that were really exciting with Jimmy Raines. And there's some Bellingham heavies, there were some Seahome heavies, and those were really fun. So, I guess the biggest matches I remember team points wise was over the Dream Duels with the Lake Stevens one. That was pretty exciting.
And then when you get into the state tournament, it's a whole nother beast. You've got, when the teams and the programs are good, you're taking several wrestlers and you're juggling different guys on different mats, and you're trying to keep guys warm and coach guys and find other guys who might be lost in the Tacoma Dome somewhere. You've got to get everybody fed, keep everybody at their same weight class. It's organized chaos at its best.
You've got 6 matches going down, 6 mats all at once, and they try to keep them on as tight a schedule as they can, but you follow the schedule and you pay attention, or you get lost in a hurry. But what'll happen is, if you have kids that are near each other in the weight class, Well, they're supposed to wrestle 10 minutes apart, but we've been down there and we've had 3 matches going at once. And it's really
Spreads
hard.
the staff
Yeah,
pretty
you go,
thin.
you got him, I got him, you got him, and we go and split up. And so, yeah, that it gets pretty intense, pretty exciting. But that's a really good problem. It's really nice to be scrambling down there trying to cover too many guys. So I think the last time we placed down there with a top 10 finish was, that was just about when you were in school.
I can tell you this, and you know I didn't wrestle in school, and not that I follow the sport very closely, but if you haven't done the state tournament down the Tacoma Dome, then you really haven't lived. And I've been to the football ones, I've been to the basketball ones, and they're a good time. Softball as well, all the state tournaments, but nothing quite matches the allure of the wrestling state tournament inside the Tacoma Dome. Every school, every classification, every weight class, every wrestler, and you're gonna see kids cry for various reasons. You're gonna see parents cry, coaches cry. Quite a 2-day ordeal down there.
It's so intense on the matches. I don't know. You've got kids of your own, and if they ever wrestle, you won't know intensity until your own son, or in many cases now daughters, wrestle. It puts a tenseness in you that you'll never experience in any other sport. But you see that down there with 24 mats, or I think there's more than that, 30 mats down there, and you imagine all those close matches and all those heartbreaks and all those great victories for certain kids. There's a lot of intensity and a lot of emotion down there.
We'll see Burlington here going for a pin there at the 220-pound weight division. Get the pin there, 6 more points for Burlington Edison. And one of those matches in recent memory was Aaron Tysinger down there. I believe, now was he at 195 or 180? I can't remember.
I think it was 182.
182, okay.
Yep, state champ. He and the Cedar Woolley wrestler had crossed paths 3 or 4 times that year, and Aaron had gotten the best of him. The most recent one's pretty well, but that last match went right down to it. It was very close. It was fun. It was really nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
they pulled it out.
The last state champion for Anacortes, Aaron Tysinger, going to wrestle at New Mexico Highlands. And how many of these kids, Coach, will go on to pursue wrestling? And I know to call it a dying sport isn't quite correct, but it's a funding challenge sport at the next level. A lot of colleges are cutting the funding there. How many of these kids might go on to wrestle?
Not very many. You maybe one in this room will. They've got Burlington's got some studs, but there's not very many community college opportunities to wrestle. Not very many Division I. There just aren't that many schools that have it, especially here on the West Coast, and so your opportunities are limited. Plus, it's the funding thing at those schools. It's a non-revenue sport, they call it, and they can't afford to run it. They can't afford the scholarships and coaching salaries and the cost of running a team to put a program out.
That was the Seaholm and Burlington match. Finally comes to a conclusion. Burlington wins that team score of 72-10. So we will start at the 113-pound weight class for Anacortes. We're going to attempt to get a Seaholm roster here from Anacortes Athletic Director Eric Titus. So we will take a quick break to try to get that. Again, final score, Burlington 72, Seaholm 10. They will swap mats here. Anacortes set to take on Seaholm. We'll take a 3-minute break. Be back after this with more boys wrestling on AHS Live.
Kennelly Keys Music in Anacortes is your one-stop shop for all your musical needs. As a full-service music retailer, Kennelly Keys offers everything from sales and rentals to music lessons and repairs. Whatever you need, Kennelly Keys Music has you covered. Visit our website at KennellyKeysMusic.com, follow us on Facebook, or stop by the store and speak with our knowledgeable staff. And make sure to check out our new music hall. Kennelly Keys Music, located at 1904 Commercial Avenue in Anacortes.
At the Senior College, we believe that learning should never stop.
Anacortes Senior College offers lifelong learning opportunities to adults over 50 in a relaxed atmosphere. No tests or homework. ASC is run by volunteers, including retired college professors, scientists, artists, business, and medical professionals. Fall, winter, and spring courses are held Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For more information of fall of 2016 classes, go to seniorcollege.org.
The Action Club is a Kiwanis club for adults with disabilities. Every second Saturday of every month, you can head to the Port of Anacortes web lockers at Seafarers Way and Q Avenue. Once there, you can recycle your computers, monitors, laptops, tablets, Kindles, portable DVD players, e-readers, and televisions. The money we collect during the e-cycle is used in several ways to benefit community service projects.
Thank you, Anacortes.
Go a few blocks into Old Town Anacortes and you'll find Dad's Diner. With breakfast and lunch served all day, you'll definitely find the perfect meal. All of their food is prepared fresh each day, from the delicious house salad with salmon to the savory BLT. Dad's Diner, open Tuesday through Sunday, is located on Commercial between 9th and 10th Street. Come on down and grab a bite.
Behind every great Anacortes club and team, there's an unspoken hero. People that get us our team gear, organize our team dinners, and support us in everything else we need. From every student athlete in AHS, thank you, Saba, for the football team's two-a-day shirts, the volleyball team's warm-up gear, and everything else in between. Saba, the Seahawk Athletic Booster Association.
Each year, thousands of fantastic pictures are taken by yearbook photographers of AHS sporting events, assemblies, performing arts, and more. The best of these photos are now available to you online. Just point your browser to ahs.smugmug.com. You can download digital images or order prints right from your computer or phone with the SmugMug app. How cool is that? Support the rhododendron and your students by using ahs.smugmug.com.
And welcome back inside Williams Gymnasium as we get set for part 2 of the double duel tonight, as Anacortes on senior night will take on now the Seahome Mariners, the visiting Mariners. And we've got some of the sheets in front of us here for the wrestlers we anticipate will wrestle tonight for both squads. Again, the final score in the first half of the dual meet: Bellingham defeats Anacortes 66-20. They had some strong efforts there. And Burlington Edison beats Seahome 72-10, so one-sided for both of those. Now Bellingham and Seahome will swap mats, so Bellingham will take on Burlington on the left-hand side of your screen on the dark purple mat. And on the light purple mat, if you're watching, Anacortes set to take on Seahome. And as we get some of the official weigh-ins here, and Coach, this is kind of the anticipated matchup for Anacortes at least. Seahome looks very tough despite the score against Burlington Edison. Nonetheless, this will be a better matchup for Anacortes here, especially in the lower weights.
Should be. I noticed the class of the night here has been Burlington, and judging by the scores, this could be a better match for us. Sometimes it's really hard to tell on that. Depending on where your forfeits are and where your tough wrestlers match up with their tough wrestlers. But anyway, there's new hope, and I can't wait to see our guys wrestle again tonight, since this is the only match I've been to for a full year.
Well,
it's been fun.
Well, one of the only opportunities, too, the only home match, true home match for Anacortes this season, is they've wrestled a lot of their home double duels at Burlington Edison, used that as a home launching point as well. So, and again, couple wrestlers out for Anacortes. Oscar Acosta in the middle weights, and then Ante Petrish, who's having a surprisingly good year, moving up to heavyweight from 220 last year. He's giving up about 40 or 50 pounds to most heavyweights, but having a surprisingly good season. And again, two players we saw on the football field, so good athletes that Anacortes missing out on right now. And as you mentioned, they're injured, they can't practice. Now you're talking about if your 285-pound guy can't wrestle your 220-pound guy, he's not getting a lot of work. Right. You know, you've got a middleweight out, as well. He's not getting as much work, so that's the way it goes when you're rebuilding the program like Coach Lomsdalen is. And as we get to take on the Seaholm Mariners, Scott Schroyer coaching the Seaholm Mariners. They're 3-4 in conference play, 4-4 overall in dual meets. A couple of their top finishes at the tournaments this year. Battle at the border, Andy Waters at 170 pounds took fourth. And at the Mount Baker Invite, Cale Simpson took second at 113 pounds. We'll see him first against Joshua Pittis, and Rem Schroyer took fourth at 160 pounds. So again, Pittis, one of the more accomplished young wrestlers for Anacortes, gets another tough opponent here to start this match off right, looking for a better result than he did the first time against Bellingham when he was pinned. So here we see Pittis. The match is underway here. Anacortes in the purple. Seaholm will be in the black with green trim, although I think a few wrestlers may be wearing green singlets as well. Pittis just a sophomore. Again, strong for 113 pounds.
Good head pressure by Pittis. Get the front head. He's working for a front headlock there. Oh, could have drug him through.
And we'll have Mark Johnson referee in this match, Coach, again. And the referees swap sides.
Mark's one of the best.
Nobody scored here, 40 seconds in, and now it's a takedown this time for Simpson.
Just pop his head out of there. Mark's not counting yet, is he?
Well, he might have got a 2 count in there. Pittis still very alive.
Pittis is going to pop out. Oh, he just about got out the back there.
And now Mark giving the counts here.
Count.
It should be at least a 2-point takedown for Simpson. And
getting to be short time, it's about a minute. I was looking at the wrong clock.
Well, they might have switched the scoreboards here, Coach, on us. We'll find out which one's correct here in a moment. And does Mark give the pin there to Simpson? I believe he does.
Yep,
maybe a quick pinfall. It is a pinfall at 40 seconds in the first round. So Pittis is pinned again at 113. And Cale Simpson, one of the better younger wrestlers in the Northwest Conference, picks up an early 6 points.
Tough break. Sometimes you get caught in that head and arm like that and you can't get off and you get pinned. You don't have a chance to get through that second and third round, and it could very well turn out different. Tough break when you get caught on your back sometimes there.
So Anacortes is going to forfeit at 120 pounds, and at 126 we'll see Claire Walters. And it looks like Rem Schroyer. Oh, excuse me. It'll be Rosman Schroyer. So Schroyer versus Walters here at 126 pounds.
The coach's son, I think.
And Seaholm up to an early 18-6 lead, although helped by the forfeits from Anacortes. So again, Anacortes struggling in the lower weights to fill the lower weights tonight. Immediately, Schroyer goes on the attack. 2-point takedown for the Mariner 126-pounder. Keeping that chin and that chest kind of tight on the body there, trying to maintain control. And as you said, Coach, if nothing else, at least wear the other wrestler down.
Yeah, you want to keep your body weight on. He's got no weight on there. She's trying to clear his wrist off so she can, fight to a base and then get to her feet or work for that reversal. He's got a good tight 2-on-1 there. Nope, he's going through for his stack.
Minute 12 left in the first round.
Crossface cradle.
Walter's hanging tough though.
It's a good tight cradle. That hurts.
And there's the pin there as Mark Johnson jumps in, and at 58 seconds of the first period, that'll be the win for Schroyer of Seaholm. Another pin for the Mariners.
Mason Gerondale and Callum McAllister coming up at 132.
McAllister in the green singlet. And obviously Gerondale in the purple. Anacortes extremely young this season. They're going to take their lumps. Didn't do a particularly great job, Coach, in defending the takedowns in their first match against Bellingham. See if they can last a little longer in these matches and maybe even be the aggressor. It's easier said than done, though. McComb there goes for the takedown.
Nice low single.
And now he'll get the right wrist control over Jarendale.
He's working the half Nelson in. He's got a wrist and a half.
Trying to roll him over then?
Yeah, he's trying to drive him over with that. Drive forward and around the head there. He's going in again. He's keeping that good wrist control. McCallum needs to try to free his wrist and come up.
Seaholm leads 24-6 in the team totals. McCallum leads 2-0 here in the individual match. And Jarendale hanging tough, back up to his knees now. Got a chance to get to his feet, but McCallum grabs that right ankle and puts him back on the mat. 45 seconds left in the first period. Jarendale trying to find any piece of real estate he can to get back up on his feet. McCallum there was actually, I think, looking to his coach Schroyer. Might have got poked in the eye there, and they are going to stop the match. Something, maybe a piece of equipment came off there.
There's something down there.
You got a mouthpiece?
That's a mouthpiece. If you have braces, you have to have a mouthpiece. You must have braces.
Okay.
Is that what that is?
I don't know. Seems to be some concern there. Yeah. And so they'll stop now. Now, Coach, does this count as an injury timeout here, or what is?
Yep,
okay, there we
go. You got your answer. Mark starts the injury clock.
Now, do you only get a minute 30 in the entire match of injury time? How does that work?
I want to say it's a minute, and then you get 2 minutes for what they call blood time, which is used to stop the bleeding and clean up. Actually, cleanup time's separate. Stop the bleeding. If you get any kind of a cut, sometimes it's like a boxer's corner where you have to take care of a cut. Sometimes it's a bloody nose.
Okay. So it came off his finger. Must have a broken finger.
You're talking about matches that used to, if you can remember. Ben Selting, heavyweight, would have a bloody nose within 30 seconds of the start of every match. It was like a pit stop. Come over, change it, go back out.
So McCallum starts back on top. He leads this match 2-0 with 15 seconds left in the first period. But Jarendale hanging tough. He stayed off his back thus far. But right now, McCallum about to turn him with 5 seconds left. Jarendale fighting it off. McCallum's going to get it. Does he get a count here? And no back points there.
No points.
So Jarendale wards that off just narrowly, and he trails 2-0 here as we head to the second period. So already nice. A better performance.
Just 2-0. He's got a real good chance here. Red chooses up.
So Jarendale will have control here to start, Coach, and if he can get him to his back, he's got an opportunity here.
Typically, because you can score easier from the bottom, but he wanted his chance on top. He must have something in mind he wants to use to try to score with.
So he's got the control now over McCallum. Again, this is at the 132-pound weight class. McCallum up on his feet now, trying to escape. Swinging around. Coach Longstone instructing, but McCallum gets out. 3-0 now for Seaholm. Both wrestlers back on their feet.
Oh, nice little ankle pick there on the takedown. He's got kind of an arm bar there. Now he's got an arm bar.
He's just going to slowly walk him over there onto his back.
Around the head.
Now Jarendale may be in trouble here, Coach.
Yep. Now he's got near fall criteria. Oh, he's getting tight half.
And there's the pin from referee Mark Johnson. And at 55 seconds in round number 2, period number 2. That'll be 6 more points. Callum McAllister with the pin over Mason Gerendal. And that'll bring us to the 130-pound weight class. 138-pound, we have the replay here, Coach, and not a lot Gerendale can do to get out of that headlock.
Yeah, real tight. There's not get in it. That's tough. That's one of the best pin holds there are. Nice tight half Nelson with his other arm wrapped around the waist. It's difficult.
They've got Zach Wenzel against Landon Baker. At 138 pounds, again, Anacortes in the mostly purple, black trim. Seaholm in the green singlets, although a few of the wrestlers will be in black. Now, neither wrestler has control here, Coach, so nobody gets the points for a takedown. Although, they're giving a 2-point takedown. There it is now.
There it is right now.
For Seaholm. That'll be Baker. And now as Baker works to move Wenzel back onto his back, using his legs there, Coach.
Yeah, he's got a little leg right in, and to use to control the lower body, and he's working a half Nelson with it. Pretty effective.
He's going to get
getting his hips over the top now, and that's a pretty good pin combo right there.
Yeah, 1 minute and 3 seconds of the first round. That'll be a pin for Landon Baker, and that'll carry out the Seaholm lead to 36-6 now as we move quickly to the 145-pound weight class. Connor Rogers, the surprise of our first match, with a 16-point major decision. He's going to take on Jacob Day at 145 pounds. Rogers had a lot of confidence wrestling in that first match. We'll see what he brings to the
He
table
looked
here.
pretty good. I was impressed with his wrestling.
Day's in the black singlet for Seaholm. Rogers in the purple with the white and gray ghost flames up the side.
Nice little shot there. He's going to come up and finish. Nice double.
Takedown
well
there, 2
done.
points. Rogers not only showing the skill there, Coach, but again some of the strength as we move up in the heavier weight classes.
It's good. I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen any of the Anacortes kids. Rogers shows promise.
So
He's got good wrist control, and he's got good forward pressure. He's almost going to get him on his back with this.
Going to roll the hips over. Can't quite get it, though. Again, as you mentioned, we're controlling that wrist and really using that to take the upper body out of it for Day. Day's able to climb off of the circle there, and they'll take it into the center ring. So they'll restart here. Day will be on bottom. As Rogers leads 2-0, although Anacortes trails 36-6.
Rogers will try to break him down to the mat here and get some kind of wrist control. He's trying to get him down flat and get him into a pin hold and turn him. He's got a real good job of controlling that one arm.
There you go. Good example there of using the body weight to really keep the Seaholm wrestler down.
Trying to get an arm bar in there. Yep, he's got it. Walking around the head. He's almost getting him turned. Now he's going to settle. He's going to settle on him. He's getting back. He's getting the count points.
Good job by Rogers there. Now he's got the full weight of his hips sitting on the chest of Jacob Day.
Starting to tighten it up a little bit, settle him down, and
got 1 second left, and it looks like Day will survive the round.
Very close.
You get 3 points for the near fall for Rogers, so he'll lead 5-0 after the first period. Very close to a pin there indeed, Coach.
That was nice. You have to hold their shoulder blades down, both of them, to the mat for two count, 2 seconds, and that's a long time, and every time one comes up, it starts over.
So again, Rogers been a real bright spot tonight.
Yeah. He's in control of this match. He's wrestling real well.
Day right away gets off the mat.
Nice stand-up by Day, right up to his feet. Rogers looking for some help from coach. He's giving him some advice. Let's see what it is. Okay. Back to the mat. Nice mat return. Just single leg trip there.
And Rogers will not relinquish that left arm control, though. He's had that left wrist the entire match.
Yeah, and he's actually using it to work towards. Day's doing some good things to keep out of getting turned, but Connor's keeping after that arm, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to get some more points or turn him and finish it with something here pretty quick. He's kind of relentless on trying to keep control of that turn.
Day went for the reversal.
It's good pressure. When you're on the bottom, it just wears you out like this when you're getting ridden like this.
About a minute left in period number 2. Rogers leads 5-1 for Anacortes. Holding on to that left elbow now with his left hand. And all he's trying to do here, Coach, is just, is he trying to?
He's got a tight waist, and he's trying to get that arm back in so he can tie it up and go to, he looks like he likes to use arm bars. He's trying to get that arm back in so he can wrap it up over his back.
Okay. 30 seconds left now.
That's what you call a hammer lock right here. Now he's going through to he's going to try to put it on his back here. Get that wrist out of there. A lot of things you can do. Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of
7 seconds now left in the period, and looks like both wrestlers content to just ride it out here, as that will be time, and Rogers leads 5-1 after 2 periods. But Day's got his choice now, and he'll go on top. So his opportunity now to perhaps put Rogers on his back. Excuse me, it'll be Day going down, and in fact, Rogers is on top still. Furious start here to the 3rd period.
Great control. He's
just a frustrating experience for Jacob Day.
Yeah, it is. It's really tough when you're on the bottom and you got a good top wrestler that keeps that good control. It's real frustrating and it's exhausting. Well, I can say for Day, he's doing a good job of keeping his belly down and not getting turned. And I know that sounds easy, but no, it's tough. There you go. He's got a half, and he can be all over right now. He's got his leg in there, a nice tight half.
There it is. What a pin that time for Connor Rogers. 1:08 of the 3rd period. That'll be 6 big points for the Seahawks. And 2nd win of the night for Connor Rogers, this one in a fall fashion.
Connor's had a great night, and both matches he was real aggressive and took it to the other wrestlers. Good wrestler. Fun to watch.
So we'll move up to 152 pounds now. We're going to get the pin here, Coach.
We're going to get a replay?
The replay of the pin there, Coach, and talk us through that one.
Okay, so he's got his leg wrapped up in there. It's real tough for Day to put up any kind of fight when he got the half and turned him. As soon as he stepped over the leg, it was there's not many ways to go there.
So Anacortes trails 36-12. And they'll have Caleb Mattingly now against Rem Schroyer at 152 pounds. 2-point takedown immediately for Schroyer, one of the better wrestlers for Seaholm.
And he's in a tight half Nelson. Schroyer put an end to that quickly.
Quick pin, minute 33 of period number 1. He makes easy work of Caleb Mattingly. Well, he wasn't messing around there. We'll move on to 160 pounds, where Anacortes will forfeit to Cameron Morrow. And as Morrow will go out to get his hand raised. And then we'll move to the 170-pound weight class, and Alex Havel will have his chance against Andy Waters. And Waters, the number 6 ranked 160-pound wrestler in the 2A state classification, moving up to 170 tonight to wrestle Havel. And we'll see what that looks like here shortly. A little confusion in the scorekeeping.
The wrestlers go over to the official score table to check in just to make sure that they're wrestling the right wrestler at the right weight. There is some strategy in close matches on who you want to send over for your matchup. In this case, it doesn't really matter which team sends what, but if you're in a close dual match, you might want a certain personal matchup with some options that can make the difference in the team score at the end.
So Seahogue leads 48-12. On the other side, the Burlington-Bellingham match, much closer, 7-6 total score. Both teams, or both wrestlers I should say, just kind of eyeing each other out here to start. 40 seconds into this one. Havel with a little bit of a weight advantage over Waters. And a little surprised Waters hasn't gone with more of an aggressive approach here.
Well, when you're a smaller guy, they tend not to want to shoot too much on a heavier guy for the fear of getting flattened out on the bottom. The weight advantage is a big deal. There he just did a nice little duck under.
That'll be a 2-point control there for Waters, and now he gets Havel onto the mat. It's about 40 seconds left in the first round.
Got his leg in. Leg ride. Power half on the head pressure.
20 seconds left in the period. Again, Waters just trying to turn him over onto his shoulders.
That's a Coit Cooper thing he used to use quite a bit. A little bit different variation, but he used to use some pretty good head pressure with that.
So 10 seconds left in the first period. Havel holding on against Andy Waters here at 170 pounds. Waters, though, in control, up 2-0. And that will bring the period to a close. So Waters leads 2-0.
Good close match.
Havel defers, and Waters looks to Coach Schroyer, who says, let's start down. See if we can get some points here on an escape. Let's see what Havel can do. He's got the weight advantage here, coaches. You mentioned maybe he can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, maybe he can. Up, got a quick reversal there.
Nice job using the feet there for Waters.
Lost good position.
You can see why Waters might be the best Seahoe Mariner wrestler this season. Certainly has a full bag of tricks. He turns Havel over now, and he's getting near fall points. Havel arching the back to stay out of it, gets the shoulders off of the mat.
Tight, we call it a butcher.
Havel slips the arm out okay, gets out of there. Not before. Waters collects 3 more points for a near fall, 7-0, minute 15 left in the second period. Waters trying to get to his feet. And now gets to the back of Havel with about a minute left. Reaching for that left ankle now, and Havel almost gets off the mat. Now he's going to get to his back, and referee Mark Johnson counting the near fall here as both wrestlers are nearly off the mat, but Waters, look at that, dragging him back in.
Pulling him back onto the mat.
Got a feeling Waters has done this before, Coach.
Yeah, he looks pretty competent. He looks like a pretty good wrestler to me.
And there he is with the pin at 24 seconds of the second period. And Waters will pin Alex Havel at 170 pounds. And now we'll have a couple forfeits in the heavier weights, Coach, at 182. We'll have Parker Smith picking up the forfeit points for Anacortes. And at 195, both teams will forfeit. And look at this, Coach. We've got Connor Smith, the senior, going to move up from 195 pounds up to 220 to take on Carl Ostis.
Oh, this should be a good match. I think both coaches are looking for a good matchup.
Yeah. Look at Smith on senior night. He's been stoic for the last, 10 minutes over there. I'm not sure if he moved. He just had the warm-ups on watching, and he's ready to go. No warm-up necessary. So he'll bounce up and wait from 195 to 220. He'll take on the bigger Ostis. And we'll get ready to rumble here. Okay, everybody's agreed on it. So wrestling at 220, here comes Connor Smith, the senior. Should be exciting. Picked up a 6-3 decision in his first match against Bellingham, and now he's given up a few pounds to the Seaholm wrestler. Anacortes in purple, Seaholm in black. You know, Smith's got that.
Ostis doesn't look like he wants any part of shooting in on anything. He looks like he's going to wrestle the head a little bit, maybe work in for a front headlock or cow catcher.
Well, Smith he kind of uses those long arms almost like a Ross Atterbury. You know, he's so long. He's hard to get in tight against.
Right. He uses a couple things from his feet like Ross used to use too.
So giving up considerable size here to Ostis, but a minute in, have a scoreless match at 220 pounds.
Want to keep. There you go. Block with his head a little bit so he doesn't get underneath, so Ostis can sprawl on him. Because of the size matter, I think Connor's a little bit hesitant on shooting. Now, if he keeps his hips in, he's good. Now he can finish this. Hips underneath of him. When you get a heavier wrestler and you shoot in and you and your head goes down a little bit, it's a bad position to be in. It's exhausting and it's real tough to recover.
30 seconds left in the first period.
He had a nice shot there. He had his hips in tight. There he goes. Another good shot. Just not quite finishing it.
I believe it's 15 seconds in the first period, so definitely Smith now the aggressor. Neither wrestler has gone to the ground in the first period, and that's the way it will remain. So after the first period, a scoreless tie here at 220 pounds. Seaholm does lead the team standings 60-24. Anacortes a chance to get some points here to finish out senior night. So Seaholm will start down to start the second period. So Smith will be granted control, and I'll see if he can get to his back now.
Good close match. The weight advantage is a big deal. Connor's pretty well conditioned. If this goes 3 rounds, I would think that would be a good thing for him.
Controlling the wrist there, and now he flanks the left arm out.
Very good. Nice job trying to sweep the arm back so he can use it for a pin hold. I have a feeling Mr. Johnson's talking to the bottom wrestler about moving.
Smith still in control here about a minute into the second round. Scoreless match. Something's got to give. Ostis gets to his feet, but okay, so he gets a 1-point escape. Is that what he got there, Coach?
He gave it to He gave 1 point to Red for taking the wrestler off the mat to avoid an escape.
Okay.
I'm assuming Seaholm's.
Well, I think that then goes to Anacortes. I think that's a point for Smith.
I'm not sure why.
Confusion there.
Fleeing the mat. Maybe his.
Okay.
Maybe he's just trying to get out of bounds. I don't know.
Well, either way, it's a 1 point advantage now for Smith. Firmly on the back there, Hostis, and again giving up considerable weight, at least 20 pounds to Hostis. And
now he's got his arm back in a bar. This is a good position for Connor. He's got a nice, tight, he's got to keep that arm back. Oh,
he's got 10 seconds to work with it here before we conclude the second round.
Just got to maintain control here. That point advantage is a big deal right now. And Connor's going to take his turn down. So apparently the Seaholm wrestler was fleeing the mat. He was trying to get out of bounds to avoid getting taken down, so got penalized.
Okay. So Smith does lead 1-0 here as we head to the final period. But now Ostis is on top. A dangerous position for Smith as Ostis outweighs him by 20 pounds or so. And just the sheer strength of being bigger, the size advantage here, Coach, I imagine would play in considerably.
Yeah, it is. It's hard when you're wrestling with a heavier wrestler. You can't spend a lot of time on the bottom because you get real tired carrying the extra weight.
Oh, look at Smith here. Speaking of carrying
this is
weight.
Good. Exactly what he needs to do is get to his feet like that, get his hips out and get away. He's doing the right things. He needs to keep coming up like that and he'll get back to his feet here, or he'll get a reversal.
Well, it would be a great senior night for Connor Smith, the lone senior on the Anacortes squad. Already picked up a decision earlier, and if he could bump up a weight class, get another win tonight, that would be a great way to go out in style.
He needs to keep coming up and keep from getting broken down and turned. Come on, he needs to get. There
He's got a chance there. There's the escape point.
Exactly what he needs.
And Smith leads now 2-0 with about a minute left in the match. And you said earlier, the longer this match goes, the better advantage for Smith.
I would think so. He's got pretty good conditioning, and he tends to be good in the late part of the match. He's got to remain offensive in his moves here. He needs to work something. He may get warned for stalling here.
Got 30 seconds left.
Okay, he's got front headlock to Essen.
Oh, Ostis releases it now.
Okay, let him out.
Well, Ostis only has 20 seconds, and there it is. Looks like Johnson's warning.
Okay, there you go. Now he sprawls and spins. He's got his takedown.
2 points now for Smith. He leads with 10 seconds left, 4-0.
Good match for him.
He may be content to hold on here.
5 seconds to go.
Referee Johnson allowing them to finish this one up, and that will do it. That is time.
Nice.
And that'll end it. 4-0 win for Connor Smith on senior night. Bounces up in weight class. Beats Carl Ostis 4-0. Gets 2 decisions on senior night. 2 big wins for the lone senior on senior night. Congratulations to Connor Smith.
Big win bumping up. That was nice. Well done.
And importantly, gets 3 points for his team. They trail 60-27, and we'll go to our heavyweight finale for tonight, the last match of the night. It's Baden Schwab versus Kogan Henry. And Henry in the green, Schwab in the purple for the Seahawks. Considerable size advantage for Henry. Let's see what Schwab can do, though. Filling in the weights for an injured Ante Petrish. And overall, Coach, you'd have to say pretty good experience for the Seahawk wrestlers here against Seaholm.
Nice to have a home match. Nice to have the double duel here.
mentioned, especially nice to see Connor Smith go out in style here on senior night.
Doing a good job of facing him so he can keep from getting taken down this headlock.
And Henry gets 2 points on the takedown there for Seaholm. Minute left in the first period will be our final match. Now he's just going to control Schwab from on top. Coach, I imagine for these heavyweights, it's one thing to try to control your opponents, but you're also 280, 285 pounds. You're just trying to control your own body weight at that point, you know?
Yeah, it's surprising. Some of them are really good athletes.
And right there we see the pin from Henry as he will conclude the night for Seaholm with a pin over Vaden Schwab, and that'll end it for our contest tonight. Final score, Seaholm 66. Anacortes 27. Some exciting matches, though, on both sides, Coach, including Connor Rogers at 145 pounds, picking up 2 big wins, the pin in this one. And then Connor Smith beats the Bellingham wrestler and then bounces up a weight class tonight on senior night and comes away with a hard-fought 3-round victory. Your final impressions here before we leave the gym tonight?
I was impressed with those two. And Connor Rogers I've never seen wrestle before, and I think he shows real promise, and he looked good tonight, and I think he'll obviously going to be one of the better wrestlers in the league. And then is proud of Connor Smith for what he did, especially bumping up. It's tough to do when you give up that much weight. But, they got a good start. I think if Coach Lonsdon hangs with it, he's got a diamond in the rough. It'll all get better for him. I think he'll be happy with if he does, and it's his to build. There's a youth program in place, and he can come in and put his stamp on when they get to the high school, and they'll be fine.
Again, final scores tonight in the double duel. Bellingham 66 defeats Anacortes 66-20, and then Seaholm defeats Anacortes 66-27. Again, the highlights for Anacortes, both Connor Rogers at 145 pounds and Connor Smith at 195 and then 220 pounds, winning both those matches, the highlights on senior night. For Bill Evans, I'm Luke Taylor. Thanks for joining us tonight on AHS Live. Thank you to all the broadcast club led by Jim Thompson for their great production. You can check them out at AHS Live. Go to YouTube, search AHS Live for all their content. Again, thanks for joining us tonight for this double duel, our only wrestling match of the season. Join us for basketball later on throughout the season. And again, go to YouTube and search AHS Live for all that content. One more time for Bill Evans, I'm Luke Taylor. Thanks for joining us tonight, and have a good evening.